Gentle things tonight, we was Kongs. It is Donkey Kong Country time, the video game that got me into the Super Nintendo. I'm sorry we had to decide it with a coin flip, but, you know, them's the breaks. Democracy was a mistake. What do you fucking want from me? The fuck are you, T-Boogie?
I'm doing fine. A little tired, but I think I can make it.
Right. No, same here, man. I'm freaking dead. I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. I'm running on blow and prayers. But no,
can I borrow one of those things?
One of. What a way to start the stream. I'd also like to point out the irony that it came down to like a dead heat between Super Mario RPG and Donkey Kong Country. 30 plus years later, the chief conflict in the video game industry can still be distilled to Super Mario versus Donkey Kong. That's fucking badass. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I've always been a big Donkey Kong mark. You guys will hear all about it tonight on the stream. So, all right, folks, let's have some fucking fun. Let's play some old school Super Nintendo magic, because this is one of the best of the 16-bit generation for a fucking fact. Not just in terms of look and everything, which the look of this game is aged really, really well, but in terms of gameplay,
1776 will commence again.
It's if I have one criticism, it's that it's maybe a hair too fucking easy. I think a lot of people have that criticism of this game. From what I understand, Shigeru Miyamoto himself leveled that criticism at this game, but let's tear into it, because I dig the fuck out of it. Shall I refresh? Reset? Yeah, I think I can reset. Tell me if you can see everything here. T-Bugs.
It's snowing, apparently.
Is it? Nice. Okay. Then we shall reset. We're going to start a new game. Rest in peace. Still living fucking necrotically animated developer that you fucking are. What are Rare doing now? What are they cupping Bill Gates' balls or something? What are they?
Not making a Conquer sequel.
That's true. That's fucking true. Oh yeah, that title screen. This was the title screen of my childhood right here. 1994. Very good. Underrated year for gaming. System Shock. Fucking Donkey Kong Country. Some good shit came out in 94. It's not a year that a lot of people talk about in terms of gaming, but 94 is no...
Take your damn clothes off!
94 is not bad. So let's do it. Do we want to cheat with the barrel code? Do we want to... Do you go down to... I forget what you do here. Yeah. Okay. We're doing one player because T-Boogie has effeminate wrists and can't play video games.
Your move, creep.
We'll never get through all of these if one of us is always playing.
That's true.
Both of us
That's
are always
true.
playing.
Plus, I imagine you'd be a little rusty.
Oh, God, are you kidding?
Of course, so will I. I love this game. In fact, I should mention, like, just to sort of, before we move on to donations and talk about whatever, just talk about, like, the history of this game right here, or my history specifically.
I don't like mayonnaise.
I am not one of those kids who, as soon as I heard about the Super Nintendo, I was like, I gotta have it. I gotta get it immediately. Honestly, I would have been fine just hanging on to my original Nintendo. I was one of those kids. That might sound kind of weird, but you have to understand, like, at the time, gaming was not the way it was. Like, think about it. Previously, the Atari came out, and then they tried to come out with a sequel to the Atari, and it blew up in their fucking faces, right? They wound up looking like a goddamn burn victim. So the idea that you would just keep releasing Nintendos in perpetuity was still kind of a novelty. Like, it wasn't really established at that point. We had the NES, and then they came out with this Super Nintendo thing. In fact, I remember people saying at the time, it's kind of fucking ridiculous to think about now, but I remember people saying at the time, oh, Nintendo must be desperate for money or something. because they're coming out with a Super Nintendo now, you know what I mean? So I wasn't gonna go get it. And then, I think it was babysat by, like, a family friend, and their daughters had a Super Nintendo, and the only game they had was Donkey Kong Country. And I played this fucking thing for hours. In fact, it got to the point where every time my parents would go out, you know, have like a date night or something, I'd find a way to be like, hey, can they watch me? Can those guys watch me? Can I go over? I'd find every conceivable fucking reason. Oh, you know, Mom, I got to do my homework. Those guys' house would be perfect. It's very, very quiet. It's fan fucking tastic. Mad TV did a sketch like that once, honestly, and it's not far off from what I was with this game. So at that point, I begged my parents for a Super Nintendo. So of course they got me a Super Nintendo and didn't get me Donkey Kong Country right away. I had to buy it myself. But this game made me a believer. And I played, I should also say, oh shit. I played the original Donkey Kong, of course. I'm a huge Donkey Kong fanatic, as many people know. Like, every time I bought a Nintendo console, it's been for a Donkey Kong game. It's been for, you know, the original Donkey Kong on the NES, Donkey Kong Country on the SNES, Donkey Kong 64, which I'm a big defender of. I like that game a lot. And, you know, GameCube I didn't get initially. I later got it, but, you know, all it had was fucking Donkey Konga and Jungle Beat or whatever the fuck it was. And I don't think... Oh, yeah, we finally got Donkey Kong Country Returns. But that's, you know, that's the thing. Like, if you come out with a Donkey Kong game, I'll pretty much pick up your console, Nintendo. Just memo. Let's see here.
Better get started on some of these.
Yeah, let's do it.
John Horn says, have you played Divinity Original Sabaton?
Our memes are becoming self-aware. They're evolving.
Dustin Eaton says, evening, gents.
I hate the fucking ostrich bonus stage.
Are you ready for Democrat Thunderdome hosted by Rachel Madcow?
Oh.
But they made one big mistake. They attacked my home planet.
Yeah, Rhino! I'm not gonna lie, this game may be the reason a rhino is my favorite animal. It's entirely possible. Boom! Bam!
Big Black Ninja.
I'm sure, either way, I'm sure Rachel Maddow will be asking the tough questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Do you believe in all the good things?
Oh, fuck, I fucked it up. Yeah. So, on a scale from 1 to Mother Teresa, just how saintly are you?
Big Black Ninja
Would you
says,
say Joe Biden's halo is blinding or immaculate this morning?
Razor, seeing your Twitter interactions with Lo Ping is the strangest of all anime crossovers. Stealth Creation says, so the Republicans are mobilizing to try to save Texas. Do you think they can pull it off? Also, would Texas not flip blue because of divided DNC?
Well, you have to understand, like, Texas flipped red. Texas was a blue state for a long-ass time. It's actually been getting more red. That's the interesting thing about Texas. So the question is, can they continue flipping it red, really? Like, that's kind of the real question you want to ask there. I think they can, especially with the weak field and the extreme field of Democratic candidates. I don't see how you sell... Because the Democrats that get elected in Texas are moderate, like blue dog Democrats, which there's not a lot of those left. There's not a lot of Joe Liebermans anymore. So I don't know how you're going to sell some of these people when they're all going to be trying to out Che Guevara each other in these fucking debates. They're going to be televising these people's loony fucking Stalinist insanity into every American home for the next several months. And now and then you're going to get to the general election. Oops. Oh, fuck. How did I do that fucking screen? Anyway, you're going to get to the general election, and they're all going to suddenly try and pivot into being Ann Richards. You know what I mean? I don't see how that's going to work. on, you fucking armadillo. There you go.
Mediocre says, it's wonderful when the sin is also the punishment. For example, being movie Bob is a sin, and his punishment is that he has to be movie Bob. I've never seen Newt Gingrich and Ted Kennedy in the same room.
Oh yeah?
Do Taryn and Razor differ on anything politically? No.
Not really.
As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I'm probably more extreme than he is. Like, I'm fucking ready for the Crusades, man.
All right. Oh, there we go. Just in case I needed a 58th life. I never talk to Cranky Kong, but let's hear a tale, shall we? A leap of faith is all it takes to find Winky in Barrel Cannon Canyon. I was told that if you bounce on 8 consecutive baddies, you'll get an extra life. Is that true? After a while, Crocodile. I didn't know that. If you bounce on 8 consecutive where the fuck are you gonna find 8 consecutive bad guys? My question. You might be able to do it on this stage because of all the snakes. Entirely possible. Whoa. Here we go. Not quite. Boo. 4. Oh.
Asim, it's ZSNES.
Yeah, we're using ZSNES.
Where did I leave off?
And yes, I do own a hard copy of this game. I just didn't feel like hooking up my super. Alright.
No face required says, all I wanted from E3 this year was
anything at all?
was Final Fantasy VII. It's not exactly the battle system I wanted, but I'm satisfied. Also, glad Tifa wasn't nerfed. They nerfed her a little bit.
She's the best part of that trailer by far. I'm gonna play the game. It looks cool. All I was saying was I'm surprised I feel this way. I do not contest the strangeness of this statement, but I kind of wish it were a little bit more of a traditional RPG. And I do emphasize little. I'm not asking for it to be a 100%, retro JRPG. But, I'm not the biggest fan of the Final Fantasy 15 battle system, which is basically what we got. I mean, that's essentially what this is. Ah, crap. I forgot there's a secret there. I'm not the biggest fan of that battle system. So I think that's really the main reason I'd rather have it be a bit more turn-based. Yeah!
Still better than Bethesda yelling "Dwagon" constantly.
But they added Battle Royale to Fallout 76!
We were actually
Didn't you hear? Hey, Alexa, show me 2 things that I never want to hear combined in a sentence. Show me 2 things I never want to hear in a sentence by themselves, and then combine them.
Razor and I were talking before the stream, and I pointed out, fucking Bethesda's conference was half and half.
Is it over
50% actual games and 50% mobile games.
Yeah.
Like, that was just sad.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are hedging their bets because mobile is where people... I mean, I hadn't played Marvel Future Fight in forever. I played it the other day. They're selling $100 DLC on Marvel Future Fight right now.
What the fuck is worth $100?
I know! For a mobile game that'll be abandoned within a few years. You know what I mean?
Is it like currency or something?
I have no idea. No, it's like characters and shit. And like costume upgrades and fucking... What? The shit? But this is why they're moving into mobile, because, look, if they're pricing things at that, clearly somebody's paying for it. Clearly somebody's buying it. Probably
Dario.
Outside of a Russian oligarch, I don't know who, but, clearly that person exists. Gotta listen to that fucking soundtrack. Listen to that shit. Rareware were They were absolutely on a completely different level during this era. They really were. They had the gameplay down. They had the graphics down. Best soundtracks in gaming at that time. Just unbelievable. And it's really sad what happened to them. I mean, they kind of retained their mojo. Oh god, he's cloning! They kind of retained their mojo into the N64 era a little bit, like at the very beginning, but by the end of that generation, it seemed like Rare was a shell of its former self. Certainly by the time the GameCube rolled around, and certainly by the time they were procured by Microsoft. Isn't there like a secret over here? Or am I thinking of a different stage?
Sorry.
Fuck! Come back. Thank you.
Dario says,
Ah.
I was watching the 1980 Reagan versus Carter presidential debate recently.
Yes, sir.
As you do.
Fuck!
Carter was gone on about my female gender discrimination and my non-white
I always try and
people
get 2 in 1
discrimination.
there, and if always fail.
The more things change, the more the Democratic Party stays
Carter
the same.
is like such... There is so much revisionism on fucking Carter. There's this idea that, like, oh, good man, bad president. Right? Like, that's like what the Democrats have settled on as far as... Or at least the media, as far as revisionist narratives where Carter is concerned. Carter was a pretty terrible human being, actually, if you consider what his legacy actually left behind and how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people died as a result of regimes that he propped up and actions that he took or refused to take, as particularly in countries like Iran. I'd say that qualifies you as a fairly horrendous human being, honestly. But hey, that's just me. Oh, now, do I want to take the shortcut and miss out on some of the hot knot?
Chuck Bandy says, nice beaver. Thanks. I just had it stuffed.
I practice safe sex.
Ketracel White Privilege says, hey, Razor and Company. Glad you guys are streaming tonight. My father is in the hospital, not doing too good, and I really needed the distraction. Would you be so kind as to wish him God fucking speed?
I was just about to say it. Godspeed to him, and I hope he kicks out. I know how that goes. My father has had his share of health problems as well, so. All right.
Dustin Eaton says, I think it's safe. I think it is safe
Oh, fuck, not quite.
to call Trump a 4D chess master after his interview this week. Agree?
I mean, if that's the thing that finally persuaded you, I mean, he's done a number of things that were fairly next level as far as controlling messaging and the narrative. The man is very, very skilled at it. It's time to admit it's not a fucking accident. I do this with Diddy. Is it over here? Or I think it's over here, actually. Ah, fuck. Really, really delicate operation there. There we go. But I concur. I also dig how, you know, Trump has been pissed, and he justifiably, about how his wife has been treated by the media. You know, if she were a fucking Democrat, they'd be creaming their culottes over this woman. You know, she's fucking European, like all their politics are. You know, she's a fucking supermodel. You know, if this woman was a Democrat, if this woman was a Democrat, they would not be able to contain their touchless orgasm. But because she's Trump's wife, you know, they never talk about her in effusive terms. If they talk about her at all, it's about how, oh, Trump is treating her like shit. Right? That's the narrative they appear to have settled on. There we go. Come on. Oh, I just barely missed it. And so Trump, I don't know if you saw, whoops, I think there might have been a secret there too. Trump gets the media associating her with Jackie O in one fucking statement, which is just, again, that's not accidental. This guy understands, and he writes about it in his fucking book. Like, it's not like people are reading something into it that he's never stated overtly. This is a guy who understands how to control the messaging. I remember years ago catching the beginnings of that when he had his, if anybody remembers, his public feud with Rosie O'Donnell, right? That was like bloody murder headlines for a fucking year, if anyone remembers. Oh, Trump's such a misogynist or whatever. But if you actually look back on that period, Trump had a bunch of shit to promote. And all the media could talk about for like a year was Donald fucking Trump. And I'm pretty sure that's what he intended, folks. That was before he was even the president, right? The dude knows what he's doing, is my point.
Censored says, I can't watch your BitChute channel because BitChute is banned in Australia.
I've heard this. Yeah. What is it banned? Of course, because it's legally considered a torrent site, I believe. Yeah, I believe so.
How?
Now cover your uncomfortable monkey boner, T-Boogie. We've got Candy Kong on the screen. She's not making those doe eyes at you, sir.
No, she's making them at you.
The little...
I understand that you want that all to yourself.
Right.
Oh yeah, and somebody points out, dude, just go behind a VPN.
Yeah, that too. Speaking of Iran, that's like the only way you can be on any mainstream oh, shit! I thought I was playing as Diddy for a second there. Brain fart! I'm on very little sleep, folks.
Andrea Jovanovic says, which of these two groups produced the biggest arc of...
Oh, yeah!
Which of these groups produced the biggest arc of jizz? Japanese Smash fans reacting to the Hero DLC reveal, or Westerners reacting to the Banjo-Kazooie DLC?
That was pretty bitchin'. That was pretty bitchin'. Speaking of rare. Hey, Winky! There we go. I can't remember. Is he in... Is he in Donkey Kong 64? I can't remember. Most of the old gang is in it. I also love this. You just kind of sit on there and... All right, there we go.
Still wish they'd put Adam Jensen. That would be lit, as the Zoomers say.
All right. Yeah! Oh, God. Espresso's probably going to be my first bonus stage here, and I'm not crazy about it.
Gorma64 says, thanks for the stream, guys. I need a good laugh tonight. I had to make the difficult decision of quitting a job I like after they asked me to do some unethical shit. Ooh.
I know exactly how that goes.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know exactly how that goes. Fucking hell.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Yeah!
Yeah.
All right, and there's a nice little secret here. Boop. This is like the most broken secret ever. Takes you like right to the end of the stage. End of stage! I may actually go back and play that because it's actually kind of a fun mission, personally. I think I'm actually gonna. Alright, cool. Let's do this! The card stages can fuck you up, though, especially with the fucked up frame rates of emulators. Ooh, here we go. Alright, let's do this. Yup. Woohoo! Oh, we might get on guard, actually.
Mac Daddy Love Train says, fuck yeah, DK64 ain't got shit on Donkey Kong Country.
I love them both. I love them both, but yeah, Donkey Kong Country is the shit. Aw, couldn't quite get that. Forgot about needing to short jump that.
Merlin's Jester says, Taryn, what's your
Whoa! That was fucking abrupt.
Son of a bitch.
Wow, shit. And I got a bonus life to offset that. That was kind of bitching. That was kind of cool. All right. Let's do Bouncy Bonanza. I just thought I'd try that because that level's fun. Oh, can I get up there? I know there's something up there. Go ahead and land on me. Thank you, sir. It's crazy how the visual style here has aged.
Merlin's Jester says, Taryn, what's your take on dudes who unironically refer to their rear as bussy or boy bussy?
But enough about Pro Jared.
You're the discerning degenerate of the Force, after all.
Of course, he's usually talking to an underage boy at the time. In a Sailor Mercury outfit for some reason.
Parrish says, why do employers in Arizona suck?
I don't know who you're referring to.
Yeah, I mean...
Our job market's crazy good right now. My girl got here, and within a month, literally I think the first job she ever applied to here, she got. Ah, shit. I lost the tire. Is it back here? Can I get it back? Can I get the damn tire back? Nah, it doesn't look like it. Fuck. I'm tire fucked. Oh, there we go. I'm retarded. It's over. Okay. Okay, Mr. Platform.
TGG says, RazörFist, if you ever feel ill and can't make the stream, don't worry. Taryn can take over for you. He is the George H.W. Bush to your Ronald Reagan.
I'm not sure that's much of a compliment to you, sir.
So you're saying I'm gonna start several wars?
I'm not sure about that. Streaming's not my forte. Not gonna nut.
Mercenary says, so Razor, I think you heard about what happened to Black Pigeon Speaks, right?
I did. He was,
the same thing
memory
happened to
hold.
Alex Jones and away with all the brigading and others who got their channels killed off. QAnon was right about the censorship.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I could have told you that. I mean, I think a lot of us could have. We didn't need fucking QAnon to tell us there's going to be a bunch of deplatforming and censorship ahead of the 2020 election because the old guard media is not going to die quietly and because they have to control the narrative or the Democrats will never seize power again. Ever. It's that dire. Even a bad Republican candidate would win because alternative media would cut through too many like mainstream media narratives and shit for them to control that. It's just not possible anymore. It's a totally different world. Whoa! No!
My life is a complex pastiche donates 20. Thank you, sir.
Woohoo!
A veteran artilleryman of the British Army was interviewed by a local news station. The interviewer asks the veteran, "What do you believe is the most important quality of a soldier?" The artilleryman answers, "Ha! Wits, sir."
Ah! I see what you did.
Yes, that's pretty good. Nitro Java says, what are your top 3 favorite video game controllers? Love your content and keep up the good work.
You guys know my favorite of all time is the Duke. I've always loved, and it's unironic, guys. It's not like a so bad it's good thing. I just find it really comfortable to use. It's so big, you don't have to strain. You can use that motherfucker for hours and whoa, I forgot you can't kill them with barrels. You can use it for hours, and your hand doesn't cramp up. You're good. I know T-Boogie finally got one, so he can play his H games without too many hand cramps. Oh, shit!
Yes, the Duke is going to prevent hand cramps.
Ah! There we go.
Nitro Java says, what are your top 3 favorite video game... Oh, wait, I already read
Ah, shit!
Sorry.
Just landed short there.
Oh, did you say any others? Or just the
Oh,
two?
yeah, I love the Super Nintendo controller, although in retrospect it's very small. I think it worked. It worked for me when I was a little kid because I had tiny, dainty little digits.
As an aside,
Yeah.
I think they're called 8-bit Tendo or something.
Uh-huh.
They make a Super Nintendo PC controller that even has analog sticks. So if you guys want to go look that up, it looks pretty cool. And I've heard nothing but good things about that company.
Cool.
8-bit dough, is that what they're called?
I always it's a guilty pleasure a little bit, but I always liked the Sega Genesis controller. Even though I always thought it was kind of weird, they had like a 3-button version and a 6-button version, and like no games really used the 6 buttons. And you know, it's just kind of weird. But I still love the Genesis controller. I'll tell you what I don't love is the Atari Jaguar controller.
Oh god.
Which is, it's like trying to fucking program a fucking universal remote.
Holy shit, we have incoming.
What's that?
Rocket launcher.
Whoa!
So, I forgot, I should probably have skipped to this one. Osmium first
Look at
donated...
this two-time and flues. Hold on, before we read that, look at this two-time and flues. Blowing kisses at Diddy now. He's underage, you know. Okay. What did we just witness? But anyway, continue.
Osmium donates 50.
Holy shit.
Saying again, hi again, guys. Today will be the final stream I will be able to enjoy.
Drop it.
A stream with you. Awesome, guys. Just want to say once again, thanks for everything and all that is the Razor Force. I will be sure to watch these streams after Air Force Boot Camp. Thanks again.
They'll be archived on BitChute probably, because we'll probably be unpersoned before the end of the fucking year. I mean, it's just a fact.
And then he donates 100.
Holy shit
And
balls.
says, here it is, guys, my largest donation for my dudes. Gotta go out in style, fellas. Awesome to see you guys playing
couldn't quite get over
playing Congo Ebola Simulator 2019. 2 questions. 1, your thoughts on the situation with Iran.
I am not quite as immediately defensive of prospective war with Iran as some other people are, but I stand unequivocally against the accusation that it was Iran here, because fucking Japan, who were the ones who were attacked, are saying it's not Iran.
Yeah.
So if they're saying it's not Iran, to me, that's open shut. That's it. They're the only ones whose opinions matter. For us to be stumping for war after that, I don't think Trump is stumping for war. I think he has bad intel, and I think I think it had the stink of John Bolton on it, just a little bit. Just a little bit of that John Bolton funk on it.
Am I reading this correctly? Is this just neocons wanting war?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that's what that was. And
Yeah,
number
well,
2,
neocons, and you know when there were Democrats who came out for it, too. Which is immediately, you know...
what is with them? Like, the only thing they ever agree on is, hey, we
Is
should
war.
probably go to war.
Yep.
They're making money, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, fucking everyone forgot. After Green Day did their shitty little American Idiot album, everybody kind of pretended that it was all Republicans that had gotten... Oh, we're going on guard first. Everyone pretended it was all Republicans that got us into fucking Iraq. Did anybody remember the New York Times running like a series of fucking articles about weapons of mass destruction and shit?
Yeah.
Like, the New York Times was all in on the fucking Iraq war, and as much as anything may have been the big reason that was an actual thing, honestly.
And number 2.
The left is not anti-war, folks. They're anti-war when it's election time in 2004 and George W. Bush needs to lose, right? Then they're anti-war when it's convenient. But otherwise, not by principle, folks. They love to reminisce about the 1960s, but they can take or leave that anti-war ideology at fucking whim, as you may have noticed.
And number 2, who would you have direct, produce, and write a Deus Ex movie?
Ooh. Oh, man. You know, up until I heard that he had been diagnosed with dementia, sadly, I would have said David Milch, who was originally attached to do a Heavy Rain movie, but we haven't heard hide nor hair of that since it was announced, so I don't think that's happening, especially now that it's come out that he has Alzheimer's. But he would have been the one I would have said, just because he has a darker sensibility. He understands, you know, crime, and he's also a bit of a sociologist. He understands like politics and human nature a whole lot. Like, I think he would have been great for that. He can direct, he can write, he can produce. He's a triple threat. But in the absence of him, man, I'm struggling to think of who the fuck could fill that role, because I would not want a director like a Chris Nolan or something to do it. He's not visual enough. He's too... Every Nolan movie has this kind of antiseptic quality to it. I don't know how to describe it. It wouldn't work for Deus Ex. You need the grit. You need that cyberpunk grit. You know, the dream is like a Ridley Scott or something, but he wouldn't want to make some video game movie at this stage in his fucking career, and no one would blame him. So yeah, I can't really say who. If he didn't have fucking Alzheimer's, it'd be David Milch for me.
And produce and...
Yeah, he'd do all three because he can't help himself.
Okay. Criminal Imagination says Batwoman returns to the burn. Batwoman returns to the bum. Sniff, sniff, here I come.
Ah, shit! Ah, fuck.
Was there something going on about Batwoman? Was her new comic
It's a terrible TV show, and no one's watching it, and it's just as cringy and terrible as the comics.
Wow, that premiered?
And I believe so. Well, didn't she was going to show up in like another show first, I believe. But oh man. What an awful idea. I mean, it's such a bad character. If anyone who's read the damn comics knows, like, that character has no business having a TV show. Has no business having a comic, honestly. Oh, that was bullshit.
And I'm sorry, but where the fuck is Batman?
I know, right?
You know why they won't pull the trigger? Because they know they'll fuck it up. It won't be as good.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's
try that. Yeah, here we go. That's better. Ooh. Boom! Whoa!
Zachary Alexander says,
there we go.
Do the level skip after the first level or you're gay.
I guess I like cocks.
Drago says, Xbox Game Pass on PC is an amazing service. I gotta say, Microsoft's move on PC has been getting better and better. What's your take on Microsoft lately?
I'm glad, I'm a little more favorable in the sense that I love that they're refocusing on PC. Microsoft, in their heyday, like mid-90s to like early 2000s, were one of the better publishers and, in certain cases, developers on PC. I mean, that we wouldn't have games like Age of Empires and MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries and shit like that without Microsoft. So it's good to see them getting back to their strength, to be honest. I haven't been as excited about a Microsoft console since the first Xbox, to be perfectly honest. And there's probably a reason for that. You know, the first one was the one that... not the fucking ostrich. The first console was the one that Seamus Blackley, a former Looking Glass guy, was most intimately involved with. So it was a lot closer to a PC. It had a lot of cool features that even a lot of PCs didn't have at that time. So it was a cool idea. I think It was an inspired concept. And then it just kind of lost some of that on the 360 and certainly on the Xbox One, which is just a giant redundancy of a fucking console. So I like that they're refocusing on PC. I think that's their best move right now, to be honest. And I think someone at Microsoft can read the tea leaves enough, which is a good sign, that they can see the console market, all the diversity and the indie titles and the surprise successes now are not happening on console. That's just... What is the last big surprise success you can think of on console? I can't think of any. Even something like Bloodborne is like a half-assed... Not half-assed, but it's like a glorified sequel to Dark Souls, Demon Souls, which already existed. And the first one came out in, 2008? Right? Demon Souls. So I can't think of like the last real big, what the fuck, where'd that come from game on console, but I can think of a lot that have come out on PC recently. And I think someone at Microsoft can see that as well, which is one of the reasons they're focusing more on PC. And that's good because it will inoculate them if and when the bottom falls out of the ailing console industry. Oh god, I hate these. Yikes.
Any more thoughts?
No, I'm that's pretty much...
Very good.
Ah! Ah! Woohoo! All that for one fucking balloon.
Mercenary
Jesus.
X6. Months ago, QAnon.
If I do all that work for a balloon, it better be sliding into Claudia Schiffer's pussy after.
Months ago, QAnon warned about the mass censorship and possible purging that would happen. Well, you must follow your channel. He also warned about having to use memes to get information through. He talked about this months ago. He said this could be a prelude to censoring Trump for 2020.
For sure. I think that's their big gambit eventually. And one of the reasons they have to deplatform all these conservatives now is because they have to have an excuse to do it to Trump ultimately. They have to have the pretext. Come on. Ah, shit. I thought that sailed over your head. Fuck. Let's try that again. Okay. Boom! Go head on! Woohoo!
But yeah, we have already talked about that at length, and it's just really a natural thing that we see happening even now. With what was it, James O'Keefe's?
Oh, that was bullshit.
Yeah, Project Veritas getting. Are they suspended for like a week or something like that? I forget what it is.
Such fucking bullshit.
Kartik Isola says, thoughts on Outer Worlds.
It's funny. And how fucking hilarious is it saying, oh, it's you leaked public information about a public figure. No, you leaked private information about a public figure. That was the pretext, by the way, for Project Veritas getting taken down. Right? Oh, it was a screenshot, a private screenshot of, yeah, but it concerns a public investigation. And this is from the website. This is from Twitter. The website that's been riding, like, they've been violating Trump's privacy on the goddamn daily over a nothing burger Russia investigation that didn't even culminate in a conviction. Mueller basically admitting it was horseshit. I mean, the whole thing wound up collapsing around their ears. Ooh,
They've gone after a kid for making a meme.
Right. They fucking doxed a kid for making a meme. Ah, shit.
And the most recent one, he wasn't even the creator. This happened before once, but the most recent one, he just reposted it. They doxed a guy, this poor black guy, for just sharing it on Facebook. God.
Well, that's the thing about the slacktivist left is they tend to only like victims that fit their particular narrative. You know what I mean? Like, a good example is the fucking Michael Jackson shit, where Macaulay Culkin has come out a million times and said Michael Jackson never did anything to me, and I never saw him do it to anyone else, and I actively disbelieve anyone who says, you know, whatever. Brett Barnes in the Leaving Neverland film, they strongly suggest, if not outright state, that he was molested by Michael Jackson. Not only that he was molested by Michael Jackson, but that he was the one that Michael replaced James Safechuck with, right? That was what was going on there. Brett Barnes comes out and says it's complete bullshit. He tries to sue HBO. HBO tells him to go fucking chew rocks. It's like, what the fuck? And it's hilarious because then you've got Dan Reed, the director of Leaving Neverland, and his buddy, his production partner on that pedophile hunter show, who comes out and says, he fucking basically says Brett Barnes is a victim whether he likes it or not, essentially. They want victims, and if you don't agree to be their victim, they'll tell you you're a victim anyway. You know what I mean? And then they'll argue with you. Like this, what is his name? Hunter Stinson, I believe is his name. This fucking asshole. He's talking about how Brett Barnes is a goddamn victim. Brett Barnes replies to him and corrects a bunch of details in his tweet because he got the fucking dates wrong, as goddamn usual, because that's the thing that's taken down the whole fucking shit piece of a documentary, of a schlockumentary, frankly. And he said, here's what Hunter Stinson replies. He says, this is a guy HBO's paying fucking millions of dollars to. He says, I was talking about you, not to you. That's what he fucking says to this guy. Basically, you're a victim whether you like it or not. Like, what the fuck? The world has gone fucking insane, dude.
Kartik Isola says, thoughts on Outer Worlds. It's Fallout in space. So, and it's made by Obsidian, so I expect to see planets clipping through each other and Korea just showing up at the end to tell us what the ending is.
It'll be busted as fuck, but I'm still excited. Whoop. Hey, I thought that there was supposed to be a barrel there. Oops. Anyway. I thought there was one, like, under... Alright, let's try that again. Oh, that's bullshit.
Serpent21 says, Dax to Kira. Punch.
Gonk! There we are. Sorry, I briefly turned into a gonk droid. What the fuck was that? Did you see it?
No, I wasn't looking.
It shot me into the platform and I fell to my death. I've never had that happen before. That was weird. Come on, land on me. There you go. I love these levels, by the way. The treetop, the Ewok village levels, basically.
Blood of My Enemies says, a couple of jokes. What did the leper say to the hooker?
A couple of jokes. Dan Reed and Hunter Stinson.
Keep the tip. That's actually a really old one.
Yeah, I think we heard that one last week.
Yeah.
Come on. Isn't there... Yes, that's what I thought. There's a barrel down there.
How many ears does Spock have?
Shit. There we go. Hold on. Delicate operation. Oh, fuck. Come on. Yeah, got it. That's what I'm talking about. How many ears does... I have no idea.
Oh no, I fucking lost it. Hold on.
Woohoo.
Here it is. 3. A left ear, a right ear, and the final front ear.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
Boo this man.
Boo.
Boo this man.
Andy donates 20. Thank you very much, Andy. Just marathoned Deadwood.
Oh.
And it makes me wish HBO would do a crossover universe, because I'm positive Al Swearingen would be running Westeros in like a week.
Oh, yeah. In half a fucking minute. They film on the same set, by the way. Didn't Westworld get shit canned, or?
No, it's renewed for a 3rd season.
Okay.
Andrea Jovanovic says,
the Deadwood movie was damn good, but there was some weirdness.
No, I loved it.
In it. Yeah, there was some weirdness.
Eidos Montreal could have made Mass Effect, but with Marvel characters. But instead we got what we got. I bet we could brainstorm a better game than the one they're making currently. Do the Avengers suck individually, or do they simply not work together?
I've always thought the Avengers were bland as fucking shit. I mean, just unbelievable. They're like the British food of superheroes.
Yeah.
There's no seasoning to it. It's such a generic superhero team. I feel the same way about the Justice League, incidentally. But the Justice League at least has the virtue of like, hey, it's fucking Batman and Superman. Like, holy fucking shit. I don't know, man. And they've had to reinvent them so many times. Like, you remember the Avengers in the 90s where everybody was wearing like Avengers jackets? Like, they were all wearing like Rogue windbreakers. And they had like Avengers A's on them. And like Black Knight was leading the team and shit. Like... Oh, man, it was...
Black Knight.
Dude, it's all over the fucking place. The Avengers have not... It's pretty crazy that the Avengers are, like, king shit now. Because for a long time, they were, like, one of the worst, lowest-selling Marvel books. Like, for a long fucking time.
Yeah, I agree with Kenny here. Everybody knows the X-Men is where it's at.
It is! Yeah. I've always loved the X-Men.
I mean, come on.
I mean, and look, 90s X-Men's terrible. But I love 90s X. I'm actually about to do a rant about 90s comics and how bad they are. But, look, I love 90s X-Men, unabashedly. It's a guilty pleasure, though. And here's the thing about me loving 90s X-Men. I'm wrong. Okay? It's terrible. If you go back and read those comics, they're terrible. They're really fucking bad. The art is occasionally bad. The story is always bad. It's just convoluted nonsense. They let Jim Lee write his own comic, for fuck's sake. It was just weird, man. But I love it. It's so, like, you know what it is? It's like effusive comic book action. Everything great and goddamn ridiculous about comic books is in that. It's almost, even though it happened in the 90s, it's almost more 80s than 90s because it's so over the top. And if you look at the comics themselves, they're very 80s-ish, which probably owes a lot to the fact that they're borrowing a lot of, Chris Claremont was sort of continuing a lot of storylines that he started in the 80s, but, whoa. But yeah, like, just ridiculous. But here, is it correct? You were getting back to the Avengers. You were the one who was telling me that apparently the Avengers is like the reverse of Cyberpunk.
Attention, Bajoran workers.
Yeah, so
Avengers is like the reverse of Cyberpunk, where the trailer looked fucking awful, and the game behind closed doors is actually apparently really good.
That's what I'm hearing from people who actually went behind those closed doors to see it.
Yeah, the Avengers game. Which,
that the actual trailer was garbage, but they showed gameplay behind the scenes. Uh-huh. And people are like, why the fuck didn't you show this on stage?
Yeah, which is the opposite. Like Cyberpunk, the people who have played the demo, there's been some positive appraisals, but there's been a lot that have said, at best, it was really boring and kind of disjointed. And they got to the boss fight. Here's what's really sketchy. They get to the boss fight at the end of the gameplay, and then the demo cuts.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, they don't have boss fights programmed yet. Or, what I suspect, it's not even running on console hardware. It's not even really the game yet. It's a vertical slice of what could be a game.
And the area where they go to fight all the enemies and the boss and all that is like 2 blocks away. They get on a bike. You see the character on a motorcycle for like a short drive down the street, and then it's over. So there's no way that's a final build or beta build or whatever.
Oh no! The studio head himself said it's not even alpha.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
That is vertical slice.
He was asked by Kotaku, by Jason Schreier, I believe. It's so weird. Nobody's talking about those stories. People were creaming themselves over Jason Schreier's hard work with regard to Dragon Age and Anthem and shit like that. He's done a whole series on Cyberpunk and what's been going on with that game, and no one's talking about it. But he asked him point blank, like, okay, so is this like pre-alpha or is this alpha or what? He said, no, it's pre-alpha. Like, it's not even, it's not even pre-alpha. So that was, granted, that was before E3, so I imagine they're farther along now, but probably not much farther along. Because that was still, like, late last year.
And real quickly, Shadow Chozo says, in case you ever read this, you should make a video about the comic crash.
I am. That's actually what I'm going to specifically discuss in the video. Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! Yeah! There we go. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well.
Where did I leave off?
Oh, shit, I slid. God damn it. Yoink.
Dean Thomas donates 20. Thank you very much.
Oh, not this bullshit again.
Haven't been to a stream live in a while since my new job schedule usually means I'm passed out before the stream starts. But thanks to Hookers and Blow...
That's just your coke habit. Let's be real.
But thanks to Hookers and Blow, I mean caffeine. Yes, caffeine. I can catch you guys. God fucking speed. Well, thank you very much, sir.
Oh! This fucking thing!
How much does a dime bag of caffeine go for these days?
Yeah, right?
Asking for a friend. DK Unit says, the Bethesda show is the closest I've gotten to being offended while watching E3. We own id Software. That means we invented the FPS.
Yep.
Go fuck yourselves.
Yep. Ah, fuck! Oh, I was gonna try and get the secret, but you know what? You actually get more if you don't go for the secret on this stage.
Prairie Boy Gamer donates 20 Canadian, and we don't hold it against him. Even Razor Kong and T. Diddy. I think he meant evening. So out of all the big E3 announcements, somehow Panzer Dragoon remake was one that had me pleasantly surprised.
Oh yeah, me too.
It looks more like a remaster than a remake.
Speaking of, I was so close to just not even doing a poll and just playing Panzer Dragoon for the stream tonight.
Ooh,
I was so close.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, I love that game.
Did that happen for you guys at all over any game announcements this year?
Trials of Mana. Definitely. Whoa, fuck!
I know. I'm looking forward to Commander Keen.
Oh, he made himself sad.
You motherfuckers, I'll never forgive you.
Sadder.
I'd like to point out that original Commander Keen is Duke Nukem's uncle.
Yeah.
And now we're stuck with this shitty little mobile game. This cutesy shit.
Oh, fuck.
God fucking damn it.
Okay, there we go. Gotcha. Ah, I almost got him. Woo. Diddy always feels so unwieldy to me because he jumps so fucking high. I'm more of a Donkey Kong guy. That's one of the reasons this is my favorite game. It's the only one... For fuck's sake, the series is called Donkey Kong. This is the only one where you can play as Donkey Kong. Like, what the shit? I don't understand. Like, they should have at least had Donkey as a secret character or something in the later ones. Like, what the fuck? He only has cameo appearances later. You know, I think he's kidnapped in 2, and... Was he kidnapped again in 3? I can't even remember. I think so.
Attention, Bajoran workers.
Woo-hoo. There we go.
The Patriot Heretic says, bought a...
Oh, fuck.
bought a sporterized 1913 Springfield for about $250. Know you're a bolt action fan, so
I was gonna try and fly over that. That didn't exactly work out.
Oh, he misspelled it. Know you're a bolt action fan, so thoughts?
That's fucking awesome, dude.
I like it so far, but not had much time to shoot it.
Yeah,
1913's Springfield.
I hope you're a recoil junkie.
Yeah. I imagine it kicks like a bitch.
That's why you get into the bolt actions. Recoil junkies love the bolt actions, especially when they're like carbines or like my fucking Mannlicher M95. Oh my, it'll kick your fucking sternum in. There we go. All right, now let's do some ostrich shit.
Stealth Creation says, with Jordan Peterson forming ThinkSpot, as others creating profession-based indie social media, do you think it will help to expand there, or just focus on a BitChute?
Yes. Diversify. That is the name of the game right now, because you never know which platform is going to take off, and what does it cost you? Your fucking time.
Yeah.
That's all. Why on earth would you not?
I still have to make a
Ooh,
BitChute
that was
account.
close.
I should
Close,
do that when I get
close,
home.
Close. The only thing BitChute needs, I think, to really take off is streaming.
Yeah, I was gonna say streaming.
That's the thing. Whoa. You know, you can already host your archived streams there. Oh, that's bullshit. That's some bullshit. Come on, espresso, there we go. Okay.
Mercenary X says, this whole week has been totally insane, and then there is Project Veritas. The whistleblower talks about the Pinterest censoring Christians and pro-life groups, and the video has been taken down off YouTube. I'm glad I made my BitChute account 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Always
I love
these
BitChute, and the
alternative
great thing
media.
about it is, guys, if you haven't made a BitChute yet and you're kind of scoffing like, oh, come on, another YouTube alternative that no one's going to fucking use. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Videos get a lot less views on BitChute because there's just fewer viewers. But if you want to start a channel, like from the ground up, man, you're going to get way more views and certainly way more engagement on BitChute, because the people on BitChute, they comment, they like, they tip. It's a very interactive community. People dig it. It's, you know, whereas YouTube has the momentum's YouTube's stagnant at best. You know what I mean? In terms of as a platform. BitChute is actually moving in a positive direction. It's actually on the up. Now, granted, they have a long way to go. I'm not saying they don't. But, you know, people there comment, they interact. It's awesome. I've gotten some of the best feedback in terms of comments on BitChute. No question.
Icy Iron Caster says, looks like the usual suspects want to attack Iran. Has anyone checked the grave of John McCain lately? Ten of Spades says, the poll y'all had for this game is kind of like Brexit. I couldn't vote, but I'm very happy about the outcome. P.S. What are y'all's 4th of July plans? I haven't set any plans, actually.
I was thinking about having a bit of a poolside cookout. That's what I was thinking of. Making some burgers and some dogs and some brats. Maybe some potato salad and chilling by the pool. That's what I was thinking of.
Elusive Eye donates $2. Doesn't say anything, but thank you very much. It is appreciated.
Oh, and of course, taking in a baseball game.
Speedy Sphincter says, will anyone ever
Although
break...
this Pride Month bullshit in baseball is complete fucking nonsense. Holy shit. What the fuck does that have to do? Anybody remember when Mike Piazza is gay as fuck? And he didn't give a shit about Pride Month? And he was one of the best players in baseball? Like, far and away the best catcher in baseball during his era? And that motherfucker the shit.
Speaking of baseball, Speedy Sphincter says, will anyone ever break Joe DiMaggio's hit streak?
Oh, man. I don't know. The thing is, that was just so unworldly at the time. Who knows? You'd have to have a next level hitter. I'll say probably not in the modern era, because right now everyone's all about fucking hitting for power and they don't care whether they strike out or not. Because somebody caught on to the fact that, like, if someone sees a lot of strikeouts on your resume, it's not really a negative or a net negative for you, as long as the home run numbers are high. So people like Bryce Harper are just like free swinging fools. They're constantly swinging the bat, even if they don't hit shit. As long as they hit those 30 home runs or whatever the fuck, they're good. So I don't see that really happening. There's not a lot. My point is, there's not a lot of like Ichiro-style pure contact hitters. Like, I don't know if you guys have only seen Ichiro play in sort of the twilight of his career, but that man could not swing a bat without hitting a baseball. Like, it was impossible for him to fucking miss. It was actually obnoxious at a certain point. He was the Barry Bonds of contact hitting. They would pitch around him just because he always got hits. So that kind of player doesn't really exist anymore.
Trago says, since you like Donkey Kong, have you played the latest entry, Tropical Freeze, on Wii U or Switch? And if not, do you plan on buying
A little
Switch
bit.
4?
Yeah, I played a little bit of Tropical Freeze.
Gonna get a Switch?
Hold on. Yeah, I guessed right. I think. Oh, no, not quite right. We're already talking about getting a Switch. It's the only console that you should own. PS4 and Xbox One, I mean, Xbox One has no exclusives, and PS4 has incredibly overrated exclusives. So it's like, Switch is kind of the only one that has exclusives worth owning and has any kind of momentum on any creative or commercial level. And that's why it's fitting to surpass the fucking PS4 and probably the Wii very soon here. Which, PS, the PS4 still has not broken the Wii's record, I believe.
Elusive Eye says,
It's not far, though.
if there was a Parasite Eve remake, how would you improve it?
Probably, I mean, honestly, a game that good, I'd probably only I would leave the combat the fuck alone, because that combat system's awesome. I'd maybe make it a little bit more real-time, but I'd keep everything else about it. I think there's a thing down here, right? Okay, I'm full of shit. No! Alright. I'd probably make it just the slightest bit more real-time and leave it otherwise the fuck alone. Like, completely alone. Because that combat system's one of the coolest RPG combat. It's basically Quest 64.
Yeah.
The combat system from that. And I've always loved Quest 64's combat system. Say what you will about the fucking game. But Parasite Eve did it better. And I'd say definitely make it more of a you can move the camera kind of deal. I still want the fixed camera angle. Ah, shit. I still want the fixed camera angles a little bit, but I want to be able to move my character around, you know, sort of almost like a Silent Hill 2 kind of a camera system where it's sort of fixed but not completely. You can move it around a little. I think that'd work. I don't want a full 3D. Like, I love the Resident Evil 2 remake. I do miss the fixed camera angles in places, though.
Yeah, true. Did you see the first-person mod? It actually looks pretty good.
Yeah?
And functional. We should actually try that for a stream. Actually, we should probably do another stream with RE2 Remake.
Yeah.
Just to try out some mods. That'd be fun. Diminished
Have
glutes.
they added Barry Burton as a playable character yet?
Probably. Diminished
That
glutes
is
says,
the question.
Who should
I want to know about bears and rabbits. What are they?
Who should rep for SNK in Smash?
Oh,
Oh,
man.
obviously Terry.
Well, I mean, would he? Or would you go... See, I'd go with a Samurai Showdown character, but you know that would mean fucking Haomaru, or Nakoruru, because those are the only ones they seem to want to use. Nakoruru is the fucking Chun-Li of Samurai Showdown, and Haomaru is the fucking Ryu.
I mean, come on, you've got Ryu and Ken in there. You've got Akira in there from Virtua Fighter. You've got to have Terry. I mean, it's just a logical choice.
No, I'd go Samurai Showdown. But you know what? I'd go Genjuro instead of Haomaru. Because he's the Ken of, He's the Ken of Samurai Showdown. And, I think that Samurai Showdown game is going to do all right.
Kenny Powers would like to know what is your...
Oh, God, this fucking thing. Ah!
What is your favorite military operation?
Favorite military operation? Let's see. I'd probably go with the original Battle of Tannenberg. Probably.
Mine would be Operation Market Garden.
Let's see here. Sure it wouldn't be Operation Dumbo Drop?
Oh, Asim is telling me there is a fixed camera mod for RE2.
Nice!
Holy shit.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, you whore! Oh, this level gets brutal with the thick snow and the fucking... Now, I could cheat and take the snow away with a push of a button on this emulator, but I'm not going to.
No, I have not seen Postscriptum. Afraid I'm not familiar.
I think you can shoot down, yeah. That's...
Howling War Wolf says, "Hey Razor, do you think Trump's re-election will drive St. Uger to insanity?"
I think it'll drive George Soros to his bank to cut him another fucking check.
The Punslinger says, "So when are we getting a music mythos on the B-52s? Or would you rather vote for our holy protector, Bernie Sanders?"
Yeah, I'm not a B-52s guy at all. Here we go. Oh, and Miss Eve is here, it looks like. Our dog is growing at an insane rate, folks.
Mind's Eye says, "Could French animation be the salvation of the Western animation industry?"
Oh, that'd be awesome. The sad thing is, though, it's just not... It never had the advertising hype that anime did. You know, even though anime has been inspired by French animation. Go watch stuff like, well, fucking... Aeon Flux is partially French animated. Fucking Phantom 2040 is French. Holy shit. Oh!
Both animated by the same guy.
Oh, God! Hello, lady.
Hi.
Say hello to the nice people, Eve.
Take your damn clothes off.
Wow.
Inappropriate!
I have to tell you something.
Oh my God. Right now. Just a moment, folks.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to entertain them. You're all fucked. So, how y'all doing? No. Damn it. I have nothing to drink. Oh wait, I still have water. How are y'all doing tonight? That's good to know. Swell. Ay, ay, ay. Dying Light 2. I'll wait for it to be like $30. I have too many games on my backlog, which, by the way, I've been playing more. Deus Ex Revision. Highly recommend. I got to Lebedev's airfield. Highly approve of the map changes they made. Like, UNATGO HQ is completely different. Yeah, Demeter Nerd. Fucking, it took me forever to find the smuggler in Hell's Kitchen. Jesus Christ. Not Hell. Was it Hell's Kitchen? Yeah, I think it's Hell's Kitchen. But yeah, I had to go the back way. I had to break into the truck trailers to find the entrance. I do have the remake of the first Yakuza. I need to play through that. There's just too many games, man. Too many games. Yes, Kella, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is amazing.
All
You should
right.
Play it
Sorry
right
about
after the
that.
stream.
Sorry about that. Okay. Yep. There we go. What did I miss?
Nothing. I started talking and we lost 100 viewers.
All right, let's see here.
The Rich and Mighty says, should James Woods
You're like
run?
the human CNN.
Should James Woods run for president of the U.S. after Trump?
That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
He could do it. He could certainly do it. I also have to laugh. Did you hear about this shit?
Huh?
Fucking Family Guy. Did you fucking hear what they did?
I don't care, but go ahead.
You know, the fucking, is it the junior high school or the high school was named James Woods High or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
The longest time. They renamed it. And Brian specifically said, and you know this came straight from Cuck McFarlane. You know this came straight from him. He said, well, James Woods is just a right-wing troll anyway, so we should rename it. So they renamed it Adam.
I don't like mayonnaise.
They renamed it Adam West High in honor of Adam West, obviously. But that little snippet is like, you know, they just wanted to rename it because fucking James Woods. You know.
And you know what? That
is so childish.
That does Adam West a disservice.
It does.
Because you're just gonna rename it because of that. That's your reason.
Yeah, that is just horse shit, man. All right, here we go.
Emperor Caesar says, "Yo, Razor dude, Donkey Kong Country was one of the first SNES games I've beaten,
Oh,
and
man.
one of
This
the main
game-
reasons why gorillas are my favorite animal."
Hell yeah. I love gorillas too. Let's see here. Here we go. This game is just so replayable and fun, and the graphics have aged incredibly well, and I keep doing that early. Fuck. The graphics have aged incredibly well. The game has all kinds of secrets. It has really, really hard missions and really, really easy ones. It probably arcs a little bit too much on the easy side, but, you know, it was the first game of its kind. They were kind of feeling their way out. Like a blind man in the orgy, I was gonna have to feel my way out.
That Indian dude says, "Is it just me? Because after every E3, I find the video game industry getting more bland."
Indeed. At least Nintendo, speaking of the big N being on the screen right now, at least Nintendo remembered you have to show games at this goddamn thing. You know? At least at least the games looked fun. They looked like they were primarily catering to people who just want to have fucking fun. Which is, you know, Nintendo seems to do best when they cater to that audience. not necessarily children, but just even adults and young adults who just want fun games. You know what I mean? Whoa. Here we go. Ooh. Can I do this? Yeah!
Mercenary X says, Do you want thing that's making me feel any better is because I just pre-ordered Cyberpunk, only because of the whole shitstorm that is the tranny poster. Even if it's a bad game, pissing off the SJWs and feminists is worth it to me.
Pretty good marketing. I wouldn't judge you for pre-ordering it at all. You should pre-order whatever the fuck you want. I'm not an anti-pre-order guy completely. I mean, I don't think it's the brightest idea in today's gaming climate necessarily, but I've pre-ordered games. It's, you know, it's understandable. Especially a game you're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk, and I hope the dozens of employees who have said there's all these problems going on, I hope they're just bitter employees.
That's a lot of employees.
It is a lot of employees.
Like,
that must be sad.
You're the one who told me that Poland ran out of game developers. Like, they tore through them all. And CD Projekt Red had to actually start importing game developers.
Yeah, they actually ran out of people because there was so much turnover. So they started recruiting from the UK and the US, and which is honestly, that's why the controversy about how they're treating their employees came out, because a lot of these foreign developers got to Poland thinking, man, I'm going to work for this studio that I love, and they run GOG, and they're so pro-consumer and shit, and they had all these sort of preconceived notions about who CD Projekt are, and then they sort of got there, and that perception was shattered, and that sort of led to a lot of turnover, and that's really what led to the drama that's going on with the game or whatever.
Peyton Slay says, true story, Anita Sarkeesian came into the coffee shop I was at this week. She's uglier and shorter and more bitter looking in person.
Really?
Wow.
Does she look even more like the witch from Snow White in person? Was she cackling and holding a poison apple by any chance? Whoa! There we go. Bitchin' sweet.
Here it is.
Get
Filipino
up here.
white
Get up
boy
here.
says, congrats on you and Eve's first child. He's a little hairy and odd in odd places, but Cicero is a great name.
I thought you were gonna say. I thought that was gonna be a Terengel slam. I gotta be honest. He is Italian.
Metal God Epic Ona, or Epicona, or whatever.
Yeah, there we go. Ooh.
Giving you some shekels in celebration of getting a new factory job. I also finally got DMC5, T-Boogie, and I love the game. Yeah, it's really fun. It's great.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
We could play it on stream one day.
We could indeed. We were going to do an... I don't know if anyone would be interested. Feel free to let us know. We were going to do an Until Dawn stream, but Eve was going to play.
Ooh.
Because she just beat Until Dawn for the first time, and she was going to play back through it and see what the fuck changes or whatever. And she suggested, hey, I could probably do it on stream. Sounded good to me. So if you guys are down for that, while we provide Mystery Science Theater commentary, I'm down for that. Whoa! Is there something over here? Is there like a secret? No, apparently not. All right. Ice Age Alley. What the fuck is this again? Oh, this one.
Here we go. Christoph Falcone says, how can Terran fight a crusade if he can't even lift a sword? I can lift a fucking sword. Fuck you. The Major Spike 9000 says, a fitting game since the Banjo announcement. Yes, indeed.
Oh, shit.
Pasta Cat donates $1. Doesn't say anything, but thank you very much.
There we are.
Mercenary X donates again to say, And I have to agree on E3 being a complete total cluster. There were a few things that intrigued me, but I ain't touching it until they see gameplay. Ghostwire especially. But I ain't touching Star Wars, I tell...
What's the matter? You don't want to pre-order based on cute?
EA's dead. Isn't Alexa is getting sued, by the way? Is Alexa getting sued?
Can a computer get sued? I'm sure Amazon is. They've got any number of lawsuits going on at a given time.
Nightish.
Drop it!
Says, drop it. No. Nightish says, thoughts on Goddamn Evil.
Great fucking album. I've said this before. I don't think it's quite as good as what came before. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Fallen. It suffers from Tim Gaines not being in the band anymore. It has to be said. You know, I'm all about Michael Sweet, and I think he's a good songwriter and singer and everything, but, you know, there's just something of that classic Stryper sound missing, believe it or not, from the bassist not being there. Sounds weird, but he's part of the classic sound, and it's just not quite the same. Not that it's bad, but it's a great album, and there's some fucking highlights on it. It's really, really good. But yeah, I'd recommend Fallen and No More Hell to Pay before I recommended Goddamn Evil, I think. There's some really good stuff on Goddamn Evil, though.
The Super Smash Bros. Brawl fan says, with your general disappointment at E3 this year, are you still excited for Doom Eternal?
Yeah.
I can send you money so you can get this game. You don't have to send us money, period.
We have
guys.
maxed out on lives. How about that?
But I'm fucking psyched for Doom Eternal. Are you?
Very much. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm sure it's gonna be good.
Rediger Sampson says, what do you think of what do you think of the Outer Worlds using the corniest plotline ever of corporations taking over the world with their corporateness?
Yeah.
God, there were like 3 games like that this E3, weren't there? There was
Oh.
Outer Worlds. There
Fucking
was
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs, of course.
Fucking Brexit dogs.
And
Weaponized _ cringe.
there was a 3rd one. I can't remember.
Got it. Whoa. Oh, Cicero, hold on.
Cyberpunk, yeah, but that's just kind of the genre.
Oh no, fuck! I would definitely say Cyberpunk falls into that category. Definitely. Fuck!
Borderlands 3, really?
Okay, let's try that again.
I don't really follow Borderlands.
Is Borderlands really about anti-corporate whatever the fuck?
I said Borderlands. Borderlands. I don't really follow the story, so. Does Final Fantasy
You're
VII
tacitly
count?
diagnosing yourself. What?
Does Final Fantasy VII count? Because that is Shinra.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shinra Corporation's the original. Fucking hell. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, gotta lock in here because I keep fucking up. Okay.
I just hate that they sneak in the
I don't like mayonnaise.
So yeah, you know, excessive, you know,
I
corporation.
don't like the corporate mayonnaise.
I get that excessive corporations and all that shit is bad, but I hate that they sneak in the whole that they sneak in the whole capitalism
you
thing is
cannot-
bad, and
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Fuck. Come on now. There we go.
He was growling at it earlier. Yeah. Cicero's biting my wire.
That didn't sound right at all. I'm not sure how I feel about that statement. She said throw away the whole dog.
Out the window.
It's like what happens when I
Stop
buy
barking
Hebrew
at me.
National. Or what Caitlyn Jenner does on weekend. Anyway,
Slim says, Noir.
it was a penisectomy joke.
Noir plus 16-bit RPG
Giggity
equals
giggity goo.
Pixel Noir. Just hit early access on Steam. Might make a neat live stream. Godspeed, sir.
There we go. Finally, a halfway point. I was like wondering. Yeah, that could be interesting. What's that guy called? Manky Kong, I think.
It's been a while.
I think it is Manky Kong.
Filipino white boy says,
Which I always wanted them to expand on that. They apparently the Kongs have a really cranky orangutan family member who throws fucking barrels at them.
Huh.
And we never discussed this ever again. All right. Here we go.
Filipino white boy says, on a scale of Cleef to Bronson, where do you rate Sam Elliott's mustache?
Oh, Sam Elliott beats them all. In terms of mustache, I mean, come on. Come on. What are all the Kongs? You got Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong. Is it Tiny Kong is the one in 3?
Oh, fuck.
Tiny Kong is the baby. No, wait, Tiny Kong is the girl, the not Dixie Kong. Why the fuck did they randomly change her? I don't even know. Chunky Kong, Lanky Kong, Cranky Kong, Wrinkly Kong, Candy Kong, Funky Kong, Kitty Kong, that's his name. Thank you very much. And then there's the amazing atheist, Wanky Kong.
Barats.
All right, let's go.
Necroner says, hoping that Bloodlines
Whoa!
2 story is decent since classic writers are writing it. Pissed at the cut content sell as DLC though.
Yeah, that is such
all the way.
That was probably my biggest disappointment of E3, if I'm being perfectly honest, was Vampire the Masquerade. Hearing that Nosferatu won't be in the game at launch, neither will Gangrel. They're gonna make them DLC later, seeing all the prefabbed animations that jar you out of the experience. Like, I already had my bullshit detector up, admittedly, because of all the wokeness, but that was the moment I kind of decided pre-ordering ain't fucking happening here. Not so much. Cicero's going after T-Boogie's charge cable here. And here again, that didn't sound right.
And actually, I can unplug it now. I'm almost fully charged.
There we go. Is there anything more fucking soothing than the water music in this game? Like, Yanni wishes he could, push middle-aged housewives after a box wine into a fucking coma the way this music does to the average gamer. Whoa! There we go. Whoa, that was close. Oh, fuck. That's a shame. Come on, Kong.
Here we go.
You can do it.
Oh, right. Where did I leave off?
One cool thing that I love about this game, I love that it actually added to the lore of Donkey Kong that I'm playing as Donkey Kong Jr. right now.
Yeah.
I love that. I've always loved that. That was one of the cooler retcons. And Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong. I dig that. Of course, it does kind of ask what kind of Dorian Gray bullshit is going on with Mario. Like, what the fuck? Whoa, what the fuck is over here? Is there an unguard over here? Yes!
White Wolf says, evening, gents. Thoughts on Doom Eternal? I'm psyched for it.
Yeah, I'm psyched for it too. It's probably the only watchable moment of the Bethesda conference. Man, what a weak performance. And they pretty much kicked everyone's teeth in last year, if I remember correctly.
I don't deserve this. Deserves got nothing to do with it.
Gunnar Niederbrook says, How would you feel about a constitutional monarchy with T Boogie as Grand Chancellor?
Probably be more like Grand Poobah.
Mind's Eye says, ever thought of doing a series looking over the history of bande dessinée, la film noir archives, a la film noir archives.
That'd be neat. Oh, and I'm gonna die. One more. No, I'd really like that. You know, I'm way into bande dessinée. I mean, it's probably the comics I read more than anything, to be perfectly honest. Although I do read American comics as well. Let's see here. Da, 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 da. No Kremling blood for oil. Cicero came over to say hi.
Sniffing around.
He is going to be gigantic within just a couple of weeks.
Oh my god.
He's gonna be so fucking huge.
It's gonna be huge.
He's gonna be Xbox huge.
You're gonna be so proud of your son.
There we go. Thank you, sir.
Andrew Warsnow board says Jimmy Carter's legacy is a peanut farm.
Yeah, it really is.
Chet says,
I'll never forget, you know, I was raised in the non-denominational church, right? And one of my best friends was the pastor's kid. And this dude, I'm chilling. You know, you would think the church, mind you, it's non-denominational church, which tends to be more conservative, believe it or not, even though you would think not adhering to any denomination, they would be more liberal. It's actually the other way around. They're very conservative and way into like hymns and shit like that. But fucking the pastor's kid, I'm over at his house. We're just watching movies. And his mom, you know, pastor's wife, somehow, this is around the time of the Iraq War, and we somehow get talking about politics, and she says, you know, the only time I voted was for Jimmy Carter. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, I don't think I can go to your church anymore. Like, I don't think I can respect your sermons anymore. I'll let your woman run around voting for Jimmy Carter? What the fuck is going on here?
Chet says, Hail Satan, our soft and luxurious overlord.
Oh, shit.
Whatever floats your boat, dude.
He's talking about Hail Satin.
Oh. Stealth Creations says, have you been looking at Joey Gibson bakery story? If so, was there any related Arizona news and you could relate with local college culture imperialism?
Oh, God. What's a good example? Well, fuck, dude. The Milo tried to have a speech. He scheduled a speech for ASU. I remember. And it was sold out. It sold out like a motherfucker in like an hour. And he was supposed to speak, and then there was some student group threatening to protest and threatening for it to be fucking violent, and I'm sure the students were originally from fucking California. And the whole thing got canceled. There was some kind of bomb threat too, and the whole thing got canceled. All right, let's do this. 43%. Look at that. We are blazing through this here.
Conrad Ford says, thoughts on the oil tanker attacks allegedly by Iran. We actually talked about that a little already. I have a feeling it's a scam to get us involved in another war to throw Trump off the elections. I hope he avoids it.
Yeah, I hope he does too. And I think he will. I think he will avoid it. It sounds like a Bolton thing to me, like I said earlier.
Robert Gonzalez says, what's your biggest political concern in Arizona?
far and away, it's not the... I mean, illegal immigration is obviously huge. It affects every aspect of the state, both here in Arizona and on the other side of the border in Mexico. It affects us financially and certainly culturally and politically and all that. But I would say it's the legal immigration from California that's fucking us over more than anything. And it bleeds into everything else. It's the reason we have a fucking light rail that we don't or nobody fucking pays for and fucks up traffic. And, you know, it's the reason we have this stupid highway tax, because all the Red for Ed commies stumped the fucking governor for a pay raise, even though every time they ask for a pay raise from the voters, they always get it. When is the last time you heard of teachers not getting a pay raise from voters? You know what I mean? Voters always vote for higher teacher salaries. What keeps happening is we vote for the higher salaries for the teachers, because who doesn't want teachers to be fucking paid? I don't want them to be employed personally, but that's just me. And then the superintendents get to decide what happens to the money. You know, you vote for a pay increase, and then the superintendents just decide, we're going to hold it to, like, conditions, or we'll pay it in, like, installments, so we basically don't have to pay it this year. So we get to keep a chunk of it and use it on other shit, usually on something political. So that's really what's been happening. So I would say, like, addressing the California fucking influx, the invasion, essentially, needs to be addressed. And you can do that very easily. You know, this is one of the rare cases where a tax, like, put a tariff on being from California. You know what I mean? Like, charge extra if you're gonna convert your plates to Arizona plates or something. You know what I mean? Like, make it uncomfortable for people to come from California here. It might sound ridiculous and draconian, but this is a rare case where, like, a tax would largely solve the problem. Because all you have to do is make it minimally uncomfortable for Californians to come here, and slightly impractical, and they'll go somewhere else. They'll go to Colorado, they'll go to Texas or whatever, and then it's their fucking problem. Yeah, that's what I would do. Fuck. If I were governor, I would immediately propose, like, a California tax. My girl's being mauled by a puppy.
Kazekame says, since you're not into text talks, BT, maybe you'd prefer grimdark narrators lore videos?
No, I have never heard of them. There's a few other lore videos. I've seen a number of lore channels. I occasionally just peruse BattleTech lore. Speaking of which, can we talk about Werewolf the Apocalypse, the game, for a minute?
Be my guest.
I'm worried. Not for the reasons a lot of people are. It came out at IGN yesterday, so we've been waiting. 2 World of Darkness games were announced at the same time. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. And Werewolf the Apocalypse, which we now is called, what is it, Earthblood? Werewolf? Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. It finally has a title, and it has some concept art and shit. But apparently IGN, there's like a behind-the-scenes demo or something, or they had like an interview with a developer who was describing the gameplay. I think they saw some gameplay too. And they said it's an action brawler. Which IGN, of course, took that and ran with it. That became the headline. And I think this might actually be... I think there are some concerns here, but I think it's simultaneously it's shitty coverage from IGN, go fucking figure. I think they heard the words action and ran with the action brawler, action RPG narrative before it was really confirmed. Boom! And really, when I actually read over the article, you know, they say action, they say brawler, but then you hear them talk about the game's got a conversation system. The game has RPG elements. The game has a full stealth system and shit like that. It sounds to me like it's an action RPG, probably with a little bit more action than, say, like if we were to compare it to Vampire, you know what I mean? Vampire would be much more of an RPG with a side of action. This sounds like action with a bit of a side of RPG. What really bugged me, though, was some of the story shit. I don't know if you guys have read a lot of Werewolf the Apocalypse tabletop source books or anything. Apparently, the main character, number one, is ashamed that he's a werewolf, which is like, if you've ever read Werewolf the Apocalypse, being a werewolf is like a gift. It's not seen as a fucking curse in Werewolf the Apocalypse, really. There's no self-hating werewolves for the most part. Like, if you're a werewolf, you get to turn into a giant goddamn wolf, okay? Like, there's not that much of a downside to it. So, in the lore, most people who are werewolves are digging it. But this guy's like an angsty werewolf. Like, he doesn't want to be one. He's got a case of the fucking werewolf vapors because he's cursed. So that's the first one. Number two, he's part of like the Celtic. There's a clan of werewolves. What the fuck are they called? I'm blanking on what they're called. But they're like Irish werewolves, essentially. They're like hard drinking, beat some ass Celtic Irish werewolves. And they say he's an eco-terrorist.
Fiona?
Yeah, thank you. They say in the description that the character is an eco-terrorist, which is... Yeah, I'm like, okay, now there is an environmentalism theme in Werewolf the Apocalypse. This is not contested. But that's not the clan that would be it. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So they just got the clan wrong?
Yeah, they got the clan totally wrong. They describe a bunch of the different clans. All the clans are represented, apparently. Well, I think they cut a couple out. And they also cut out a couple werewolf forms, too, I think. There's 4 different werewolf forms, for those who are not aware. You have the human form, the quasi-human, like the Universal Wolfman movie. You know what I mean? Like, you look mostly human, but you're fucking hairy.
Right.
You're basically Italian. And then there's the, oversized fucking werewolf form, right? The Wolf by Night Marvel Comics version. And then you have the sort of somewhere between a wolf and a full werewolf version, and then you have just a full wolf form where you're indistinguishable for a wolf, but you're, Twilight werewolves, essentially. And they fucked that up. Like, the Glasswalkers, the Glasswalker clan, they described them as, like, believing... Like, fucking... Basically, they're just hackers... Which is wrong. Like, it's not correct. Really, the whole point of the Glasswalkers is that they want werewolves to basically incorporate more human elements. They're kind of like, they are to werewolves what the Toreador are to Vampire the Masquerade. Where they're like, they want to be more human. You know what I mean? Like, they want to incorporate more, and they want to progress. And technology is a part of that, but they basically turn them into, like, a techno cult. And it just doesn't sound right. They're fucking up the lore is the main thing that's bugging me. The gameplay actually sounds fine the way it is. Although I will say I'd rather it were more of an RPG. Wow, that was quick. I'd rather it were more of an RPG. And I think... the fact that they haven't shown gameplay yet and we don't have a trailer tells me it's still early enough for them to fix that. If you guys are as into Werewolf the Apocalypse and World of Darkness as I am, I'm way into it, and you want it to be more of an RPG, let them know on Twitter. Don't harass them or anything, but just, hey, we'd rather this were a little more of an RPG, a little less action. No one's, like, I would say a werewolf game should be more action-y than a vampire game, right? I think that's fair to say. It should be faster paced, but it still needs those RPG elements. To me, it's a World of Darkness game. It's based on a tabletop, for Christ's sake. You gotta have that. So I'm a little worried about it. I'm not quite as worried as other people, but let's see here.
Thomas Delaney donates 25. Thank you very much. Have you checked out Wastelands, the origins of Fallout with tactics?
Yeah,
Wastelands 2 is good, really good. Third one looks really good, and it's supposed to be 2-player.
Yeah, on my original curator page on Steam, it was one of the first games that I recommended, actually. I haven't added it to the new curator page, though, which I need to get on. I need to actually update that page.
Ruben Burke says, please give Evil Within 2 a chance. Also, Cyberpunk 2077,
Is it down?
2077 rant? Question mark?
Is it down here? Am I gonna kill myself here? I'm gonna. Yep, I sure did. I thought there was a secret down there. Sometimes you just gotta roll the dice. Sorry, what was the last bit there?
Cyberpunk rant.
I kind of already gave you one.
Yeah.
I'm still looking forward to it. I want to make perfectly clear, I am not predicting it will be a bomb. I'm just saying I'm worried because we're hearing a lot of the same things from former Cyberpunk developers that we were hearing from former Anthem developers at EA. And that worries the shit out of me. And someone needs to talk about it. Like, I don't know why so many YouTube channels are just not talking about this at all. I get that they've built up capital with some people. I mean, I wasn't crazy about Witcher 3. I love Witcher 1, and I thought Witcher 2 was okay. The Gwent shit is stupid. And apparently they were in a bit of financial distress after the last little Gwent game bombed. But I get that they've got some capital with everybody. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but it's a legitimate concern. The worst thing you can do, think of it this way. If you're a fan of CD Projekt Red and you like these guys and you want them to succeed, the worst thing you can do to someone is have no standards for them. You got to hold their feet to the fire a little bit if this is true. They were caught in lies here. They called their own employees liars when these stories came out, and then they contradicted themselves by quietly sort of admitting it later without really acknowledging that they committed character assassination on their own employees. Later, I don't know if you guys remember when those Glassdoor reviews came out, and everybody was concerned, and I think Yong Yan, a couple other people were talking about, like, holy shit, what's going on at CD Projekt? They literally called those reviews fake. And here's the even cringier part. Not only did they call the reviews fake, they actually went one further. The next day after the story broke, after CD Projekt responded to the story, fucking Kotaku checked the Glassdoor website, and all of the negative reviews were buried because overnight there had been dozens and dozens of glowingly effusive positive reviews of CD Projekt on the website, and they'd all been conveniently upvoted, so they were the first ones that you see, and they had buried all of the negative ones that had been accrued slowly over the years. I mean, that's like cover-up shit. Like, what the fuck is that? They probably paid someone to do that. That is ridiculous.
Mr. DJ Flyhigh says, someone asked me how I view lesbian relationships. Apparently in HD wasn't the correct answer.
Through the crack in the closet door?
Dino DeGuy says, Godspeed from Texas. Thoughts on Doug Stanhope?
Not the biggest Doug Stanhope fan as stand-up comedians go.
Okay. Stealth Creation says, have you read
by the way, guys, if you have not seen the new Nick DiPaolo special, he released the whole thing free on YouTube. It is, I couldn't breathe. It was so fucking hilarious.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to
I lost Ramby. God damn it. It was so good, and after I watched it, I was wondering, why are you releasing this for free on YouTube? And then I realized after I watched it why he did. He wouldn't have been able to get away with this on a cable network. He goes way over the edge on some of this fucking material. Way past the line, which I fucking love. Just, the dude is fearless. Nick DiPaolo, probably the best working comedian right now.
Can I point out how bullshit all that was? Just tires and barrels.
I know, right?
Midair.
They're controlled with mentalism.
Stealth Creation says, have you read Milo's latest expose? If not, you should totally take the Southern Pill, because ignoring this is not colon for?
What?
Sorry, I don't know what that word is. But seriously, The pun was less painful than the news that broke from this.
I know I haven't heard about it. Nice. There we go.
White Wolf says, how much longer do you guys give comics and video games industries before they collapse?
Comics, man. I hate to say it because, I mean, look, I wanted to be a professional comic artist at one time. I've been paid and have published comics. I know all about page rate and all that fun shit because I did all that. I've been in anthology magazines. Like, ideally, that would have been my career. But man, the way the industry has gone, I don't see it lasting. Certainly not in its present form. Another 10, 15 years. I just don't see how. I really don't. It's unsustainable, the level they are bleeding sales and audience. And fortunately, thank God, however you feel about Ethan Van Sciver and, Doug Tendapel, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Earthworm Jim creator guy, they have found a way to profit in this industry. They've found a way. They've made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this, and God bless them. They deserve to. They created a product. I know Ethan's delayed his product a lot. By the way, that's nothing new. Ethan Van Sciver was always delaying his books back in the day. That's what happens when you draw in that detailed of fashion, and especially when you don't lightbox anything.
Also, did you see the SJWs already attacking Cyberpunk 2077?
Yep. Which I can't imagine. I can't conceive better marketing for Cyberpunk 2077. We just heard earlier somebody say, dude, I pre-ordered it as soon as I heard that. And that dude's not an outlier. Tons of people are going to do that. Oh, God. Oh, God. I need to switch to Donkey. Shit.
Slowpoke
This fucking
Garcia
soundtrack, guys. Whew, that was close.
Real Wolf Girls hours. Woo if you're up. Gucci says, hey, RazörFist, ever heard of Jamiroquai?
Of course.
Would make a great music mythos. Thanks.
Not for me. I'm not a fan.
What's that flashing?
All right, there we go. Bees.
Sebastian Tipper says, how excited are you for Animal Crossing New Horizons?
You know, it looks pretty good. I like it. It's a shameful secret, but I like Animal Crossing a lot. It's fun. It's just kind of a chill game. It's a good game for when you just want to turn your brain off and sort of veg. You know what I mean?
Mercenary X says, I absolutely agree with you on the music, Razor. It is some of the most chill, relaxing, and actually blood pressure dropping music I've ever heard.
Really is.
The underwater levels and of the area with the tall trees had some of the best moody, spooky stuff.
Oh yeah. Not to mention the industrial area. Creme Corp Industries or whatever the fuck it is.
Filipino White Boy says, as a Nats fan, I got to say fuck Zach Greinke.
He almost got a no-hitter yesterday. Almost.
We need these wins more than you guys do right now. Actually, we need a lot of things right now, like BP.
Batting practice, and you guys need you need more than just one pitcher. I don't know if you're aware. You need more than one.
Never so clever as this says, Evening Razor and T. I know you aren't a big Yahtzee fan, but I gotta recommend his books. They're solid reads and take more than
Does
a
he
few...
talk about skipping his grandmother's funeral to play Super Mario 3?
And take more than a few swipes at leftist culture. Godspeed, you metal
Which is
monster.
hilarious, because if you've watched his recent videos, from what I understand, he's bit hard down on that blue pill. I mean, and that doesn't surprise me at all, because I remember whenever Terengel first showed me his videos back in the day, he was always making, lame, like, John Oliver caliber slams on Republicans and stuff. It was, like, really cringy, very 2004 kind of topical humor. A lot of that in his early work.
Where did I leave off? Bojack Outlaw says, currently in the process of moving out of old house and building a new one. Wow, building one?
Hell yeah.
My stepfather cleaned out a closet and found a box contained my original NES, SNES, and a copy of Donkey Kong Country.
Nice!
I haven't seen those in over 20 years.
It's worth revisiting. The game has aged well, as you guys can see. It's aged very well.
Gus Bus says, what Marvel characters besides Daredevil do you enjoy?
I like Moon Knight. I like Colossus a ton. Oh, shit. There we go. I like Nightcrawler. I like... Fuck. I like Iron Fist. Oh, shit. Let's see here. Oh, hello, puppy.
That's my son.
Cicero's right in my ear. If it's possible, he's getting fatter and wrinklier by the microsecond.
I love it.
He's gonna be a big boy. I don't know if you guys have ever Googled Cane Corsos. He's gonna be a big old boy. He's gonna be big.
Perish.
Nice and calm. I just took him out, time out, because he was acting a little crazy.
Oh, shit.
But he's chilling now.
Yeah.
He's so smart.
Oh, yeah. This dog already... The only thing we haven't quite broken him on, but he's getting better, is leash training. Cane Corsos are not big fans of the leashes.
We're still working on the on the biting as well.
Although he's getting a lot better.
Yeah, way better.
Way better. But considering we've only had him a week, he sits, he lays, he'll drop things when you tell him to. He'll come. He'll, he's learned a lot for only being, with us a week, so let's see here.
Parrish says, my previous comment was referring to temp to hire jobs in Arizona.
Oh, temp jobs. Yeah, I don't know.
Never So Clever as This says, I'm not allowed to say SJW.
You understand we're all demonetized just for thinking it, right?
Boo is shite. Oh, bullshit. Well, he's having to, cleverly type around it. Mr. Mosby says, so, how so you think we won the 04 election? That's interesting sentence structure.
How do you, what?
How so you think W won?
How do I think he won the 2004 election? John Kerry was a shit candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, just terrible. He was a shit candidate. I think the anti-Iraq war sentiment, as easily as it is for us to look back and say it was a bullshit war, it was a lot less unpopular than the media would have liked us to believe. They tried to do the same thing with the Iraq war that they're currently doing with Donald Trump. So I think the unpopularity of the war was exaggerated at the time. It got more unpopular towards the end, to be honest. That's why we wound up with Obama. So at that time, I don't think it was that unpopular of a war, to be perfectly frank. We also don't tend to vote out incumbents, which is one of the reasons I have to laugh at the people who are boldly predicting that Trump will lose. Because it's even if you think every odd is stacked against Donald Trump, we don't vote out incumbents anymore. It just doesn't happen. The last time it happened was 1992. And that was because the ticket was split. Without Ross Perot in that election, George H.W. Bush cruises to re-election. And that's just a fact. We do not vote out incumbents anymore. And I think that's largely because, wow, fuck. No! See, this is what happens when you kill the Pennsylvania coal industry.
David NS84 says, for free speech, here are some tasteless jokes. Why does it suck to be black and Jewish?
Oh, dear.
You have to sit in the back of the oven. What do you call 6 Mexicans in the back of a truck? Farm equipment.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Whoa, shit. I accidentally fast-forwarded there. That was my bad.
What's yellow, orange, and looks good on a hippie? Fire.
I thought it was going to be Agent Orange, but okay.
Heathen James says, it was interesting to see lefties celebrate a warmongering neocon like McCain today just to dunk on Trump. The
It's
cognitive
hilarious.
dissonance is real.
Oh, it's hilarious, because I was just slamming Family Guy earlier for the James Woods thing. Miss Eve and I were watching a Family Guy episode yesterday. Yesterday or the day before. And they go back in time to Nazi Germany. I don't know if you guys remember this. And Stewie, like the timeline gets fucked up. And Stewie and Brian have to disguise themselves as Nazis. Anybody remember this bullshit? This is in 2008. Surprise, surprise. And Stewie has his Nazi uniform on, and he pulls back the lapel, and there's a McCain Palin's fucking button on it. And I'm like, and now we're just pretending he was fucking Jesus Christ. They literally called this man a Nazi. Back that they said the exact same thing about John McCain that they're saying about Donald Trump. But because he didn't like Trump, now he's cool. Because he was busy, because he basically died like a Democrat. They're all about the John McCain now. Oh fuck, what the fuck? Where's my platform at?
Will G donates $2 but doesn't say anything. Stephen Stinson says, what are your thoughts on Mike Pondersmith and his creation Cyberpunk 2020?
I don't know much about the creator, but I've always been a fan of Cyberpunk 2020.
Drop it!
Cool. We need to blow through a lot of these. They're
Yes,
stacking
sir.
up. Stymie says, Rage, you and Count Dankula need to do a collab in the future. I think it will be a showstopper.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool too.
Criminal Imagination says, so,
There we go.
just so you don't have to watch the Batwoman ad, Ruby Rose gives to a beggar. Soldier tells her it's a bad idea. She smirks, walks back, and gives the same bum a Rolex.
What?
Okay.
Jesus! Now, what has Batwoman ever given except head to a Home Depot shopper?
You got that one. Remind me after this, we need to
Yes, sir.
select 2 more mods.
Okay.
Let's see. Marlins Jester says, Betrayal at Condor win. Cosplay, I mean. Taryn as Owen Bellaforte. And
Thank
Eve
you.
as Caroline Consdon. And Razor as Gorath. Because why the hell not?
Indeed. Why the hell not? Fuck, this is a bitch.
Speedy Sphincter says, thoughts on Caitlin Bennett from Liberty Hangout?
Never heard the name. Oh, the girl with spaghetti hair. Ramen noodle hair. There you go. I've never seen any of her videos. I don't. I'm being a dick, but I've never seen any of her videos. Does she have videos? Does she even do video? I thought she was like an Really?
Yeah, she's.
Oh,
one
I
of
think I
those-
saw her recently. Yeah, apparently she got assaulted or something.
Wasn't recently Obama was given a speech or something, and she went and like live streamed it, and Obama found out and sent the Secret Service after her and escorted her out of the building? Is that the person I'm thinking of? Ooh,
No.
poison.
Cicero.
I think he was chewing on my chair earlier.
Oh, Poison Pond. This level is not kind.
And Coulter's prestigious neck says, "Hey guys, sorry if you've answered this in the past. I've missed a couple of streams. Do you think the move from sci-fi to Amazon will be good or bad for the Expanse? Do you worry about it Game of Thronesing the ending?"
I don't know. I do worry about that a little, but the great thing about Amazon Prime is the seasons are sort of made to order. So if they need to take more time, they can take more time. They can take 2 seasons the fuck off. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything. That's one of the great things about, a streaming season. This is why I think Daredevil is going to come back with the complete casting. I am now 100% persuaded Daredevil's going to come back when Disney launches the Marvel streaming service or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's going to be a big surprise.
And they will bring the entire cast back. I am completely predicting that now. Because I've been following, I don't know if anybody follows Vincent D'Onofrio's Twitter feed. He's been supporting the Save Daredevil hashtag campaign on Twitter, and so have a bunch of the actors. Charlie Cox did, and Deborah Ann Wall.
Let's try to blow through some of these.
Yes, sir.
Trioxin says, odds of Trump buckling to the neocons and starting shit with Iran. If he does, it doesn't look good for a second term.
Nope, I don't think so. I don't think he will.
Okay. Mr. Mosby says, so Star Trek
ultimately, and really all you have to do to make that prediction is analyze, even if you believe everything negative about Donald Trump, analyze the kind of Republican he is. He's not a military Republican. He never has. That's why John McCain hated his fucking guts. Okay? He's a money Republican. That's what he is. He's a big business tycoon Republican. A little bit of a blustery Teddy Roosevelt type, but ultimately he is about business, right? Getting the fuck out of the way of business. That's why the economy is doing so fucking well. So I just don't see it, because it doesn't, not because he's so principled and whatever, but because it's just not his MO. That's just not his thing. He's not so preoccupied with military intervention anywhere.
Mr. Mosby says, so Star Trek Discovery, is anyone watching that show? No one talks about it, ever.
Because no one really is.
Because it takes place in the Kelvin universe and no one gives a shit. That's why. The loot in Star Trek Online is pretty good.
I love that they finally had to admit that it doesn't take place in the Prime universe. I have to laugh. Oh, fuck, I fucked that up. This mission, or this level, fucking Poison Pond, man.
Uzi Patrol says, do you like the Spawn comics?
There was a sweet spot in like 2006-ish or so, 2007, where it was more of like a crime comic. It wasn't, oh shit. It wasn't like so much of a dark, brooding, wannabe Batman kind of superhero comic like it usually is. And it was more of like a detective noir crime comic. And I read a few issues and I really liked it.
I have to say this out loud. Debonair Nerd. I gave STD 13 chances. It made me sick.
Oh.
Abraham De La Pena says, Rageaholic Cinema dedicated to Westerns win.
I mean, we'll get to it eventually. It's planned.
The list is long.
Yeah, the list of Rageaholic. We have a Rageaholic Cinema coming up, though.
Yes.
And it's a doozy.
Yes.
Is a doozy. Much requested Rageaholic Cinema. Not a Western, though. This I can confirm.
Mr. DJ Flyhigh says, rant on Game of Thrones. Also, thoughts on the Dark Crystal prequel series and the game trailer for the Dark Crystal game.
You were way into Game of Thrones in the very beginning, right? Like, I seem to remember you being
I stopped watching like 2 seasons ago.
Right.
Like, I just
like
fell
along
off.
with a lot of people. It lost the plot.
Yeah.
It just did.
It took too long.
I don't know if it has anything to do with the adaptations. I didn't read all the novels. I had them recommended to me for years and never got into them. This was years before the fucking show, too. But, like, I don't know. It just seemed to meander at a certain point. You know, it's kind of like The Wire season 5. I love The Wire, folks. I think it's one of the best TV shows ever made. But that 5th season was dog shit. It was bad. It lasted 1 season too long. In retrospect, they should have just ended it at the 4th season with no, like, big finale. Kind of like Deadwood, you know, where it just sort of ended.
And Dark Crystal prequel series and the game?
Oh, yeah. Aren't they doing... They're doing the full puppets and everything.
Yeah,
and
the series looks really, really good.
Yeah, I'm down. I love Dark Crystal.
And the game just looks like a tie-in. Like, it's a tactics game.
You know what? I'm okay with that. And I'll tell you why. It's been a while since we've had just a full-blown movie tie-in game. You know what I mean? Like, it used to be like Iron Man came out and there was an Iron Man game immediately. Thor came out and there was a Thor game. And I'm not saying they're good games. Let me make that perfectly clear as I die. I'm not saying they're good games. But you know what? Occasionally a movie tie-in game could be good. I love Batman Begins.
Oh.
Batman Begins, like, started the whole, like, stealth, the fear meter idea, all that stuff that wound up being in Arkham Asylum. I think without Batman Begins, you don't ever get the Arkham series. I really, because a lot of that stuff, God, I could not get around that. This motherfucker is so buoyant. So you have to, as shitty as movie tie-in games are, I like when they come out with one. Because the overwhelming plurality of dog shit that results from tie-ins of TV shows and movies, you know, it pays for itself in the few gems that you get. Like, straight up, and people are probably going to taunt me for this, but fuck you. You have bad opinions. One of my probably my favorite RPG, and one of my favorite RPG of the NES era, and one of my favorite RPGs of all time is the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves NES game. I fucking love that game. It was an action RPG. It was like one of the first action RPGs I ever played. It was really fucking cool.
People are saying Spider-Man 2, Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, there was good stuff every now and then. It wasn't, you know, definitely was the exception, not the rule. But you know what? You gotta roll the dice to get the few gems out of there, right? Just my opinion. I think movie tie-ins and TV show tie-ins, they have their place. And it's, you know... Nowadays, it seems like companies, instead of doing a full movie tie-in and spending all that money and trying to market a proper game, they're just, like, releasing they'd rather release, like, a Game of Thrones mobile tie-in or something, or like a Game of Thrones pack. You know what I mean? For an existing mobile tie-in or whatever. Marvel does that a lot. Like, right, like, Daredevil came out. Daredevil for Netflix came out. There should have been a video game. And there still should be a Daredevil video game. Like, make no mistake. Eidos Montreal should make the motherfucker, in fact. But when Daredevil came out and it was a big hit and people loved it and it was getting rave reviews and it set, like, viewership records on fucking Netflix for the first season. When that came out, they didn't make a game. They just put Daredevil as, like, they like put Daredevil in, what was it, Contest of Champions, the mobile game,
Yeah.
and then Future Fight and shit, which is stupid. Like, let's just make a game, you lazy cunts.
Let's try to hurry through these because we got like 6 during that one.
Oh shit.
Pixelation says, rewatching Deadwood, I happened across an article saying Flora Anderson was the most memorable character of the show. Thoughts?
1776 will commence again.
Huh? I mean, she was good. I thought Kristen Bell was good on the show, but I think that, you know what that sounds like to me? Is just sounds like somebody who digs Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like. She was good on the show, but damn, come on. I mean, fucking Ian McShane steals that show. Straight up.
Yeah. I mean, how is he not the most? Anyway. Kartik Isola, new rule, no E3 showcase.
Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?
No E3 showcase for your game unless you at least have an alpha build to show. What do you think?
I think it's a good rule of thumb. Good rule of thumb.
Andrew Wars Now Board says the second game is called Diddy Kong's Quest because it was Rare's game and Diddy is their creation.
Right.
Diddy is a British slang term for short person.
Okay.
I didn't know that. The Patriot Heretic says, also did Razor look into Falconer yet?
No, well, I've heard of them for years, but no, I haven't.
Tides of War says, hey Razor, which is your favorite Donkey Kong Country game?
This one.
Okay, I'm partial to 2. Also, if Joe Biden creeped on a transsexual, how do you think the MSM would spin it?
Look how progressive he is.
Diana
shit.
Barnett says, thanks for
My bad.
being a voice of sanity in an insane world.
Some psychiatrists may differ with that appraisal, but thank you.
The Pun-isher says, what do you call a flash drive where you keep
What was that?
where you keep bad memories? A flash drive where you keep bad memories. It's actually pretty clever.
Flash drive where you keep bad memories. Hillary's private server?
A PTSD card.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Also, FYI, BitChute is currently doing streaming tests.
Nice.
Mentioned in a Styx interview with the BitChute founder.
Yeah, I had heard about that actually. You're right.
Also, Sargon just beat Styx to 50k subs. Wow.
Holy
on BitChute.
shit.
That's impressive. Guys, make sure if you haven't made a BitChute account, go do that in another tab. I like the Spike Man donates 20. Thank you very much, sir. Worst thing about Donkey Kong Country, one of the near flawless games was only one ice cave level that Shig was so pretty as a kid. Also, no Chrono 3. Fuck you, Squeenix.
Isn't there? I thought there was at least one more ice cave level later in the game.
Is there only the one though?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I think they brought the ice caves back in the second one, didn't they? And changed them around.
Well, there's plenty of ice in Tropical Freeze, so there you go.
I always loved and hated the honeycomb, the fucking, beehive levels in Donkey Kong Country 2.
Almost had it, says. Any thoughts on Remnant, Rise from the Ashes? Is that the one that looks like a knockoff Skyrim to the first person one?
I haven't heard anything about it thus far. Rambi is in this level somewhere, and I forget the fuck where.
I'm just gonna call you Shannon. Shannon says, on bolt guns, I got a 6.5 times 55 Sweet Mauser Para for my 18th birthday. To this day, have yet to own a more accurate weapon. Great for hunting and absurd reach.
Good shit. Well done. I think my most accurate weapon's probably my Mauser.
9/11.
C96.
It's never 9/11. not funny. Only Caleb says Donkey Kong Country over Super Mario World, in my opinion.
Really? Well, you know what? I would go there with you too in terms of 2D platformers. Yeah, absolutely. It sold a lot of Super Nintendos, gang.
Danny numero 6 says, since you said last stream that you have only seen the first Evil Dead movie,
yeah,
you must see Evil Dead 2. It's the best of the series. It's basically a bloody, gory version of the Three Stooges.
Not a bad description.
Christopher Sin donates 20. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Let me do that real quick.
All right.
Favorite crazy story about playing Daggerfall? Mine was getting chased out by Lysandras.
Oh, fuck.
Lysandras.
What? Oh, man. You know, honestly, the craziest thing about Daggerfall to me was the first time I realized when I left the first dungeon, finally. And, you know, I didn't know there was fast travel. Look, folks, this is 1996. Like, fast travel was not a concept. You know, I don't even think, like, early MMO stuff, like Meridian 59 and Legends of Kesmai. Like, Legends of Kesmai didn't have fast travel. I think it had warping. That was the closest thing to fast travel you had back then, was like warps. And you could only use those in certain places. So this idea of like fast travel, I think it starts with Daggerfall. I could be wrong. It might have been in some other game. It was the first game I played that had fast travel in it, because the world was so fucking big. So I didn't know anything about it, and I kept pushing, you know, playing video games like I have. Whoops. Playing so many video games as I have, I naturally assumed, oh, the M button is the map button. And of course, when I had been in the dungeon, pushing M did indeed bring up the 3D map. But then I get out of the dungeon, and M suddenly doesn't do anything. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm fucking around. I'm like, oh, well, shit, I guess I have to find another button. And I check the settings, and boom, there you go. A button for a world map. And it's W. And I click that, and here's the world. And I'm like, well, this is kind of weird and obscure. And I think I clicked off it a couple times because I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why is it just showing me a bunch of countries? And why is that one over there flashing, right? Finally, I click on the flashing country. And mind you, all this while, I'm walking. I'm just like trying to get somewhere because I just got out of the dungeon. In fact, I'm running. And it took so long, I'm sitting there. I was homesick, incidentally, that day, so I had nothing better to do. So I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I'm walking, and it's taken so fucking long. It's like 35, 40 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm still walking? I literally put a paperweight down on the W key so that I could keep walking, right? And he kept fucking walking. Finally, I click on the overworld map, and I click on the flashing country, and I see all these dots. And I'm like, what are these fucking dots? What the fuck is this? And why is there like a crosshair? And I realize every single dot is a city. Every dot is a fully realized dungeon. And I'm like, where am I? What is this? Who made this fucking game? Mind you, by the time I really dug into Daggerfall, like I played it at launch, or shortly after launch, I think, but by the time I really dug into Daggerfall, by the time this happened, I was already playing Asheron's Call, like MMORPGs and stuff that have big overworlds. But this was way beyond, right? Like I think someone said it's literally, Daggerfall is larger than the landmass of England, if I remember correctly, like pound for pound. So that just blew my fucking mind. That's my Daggerfall story, is trying to walk to the next town and it literally happening in real fucking time. That's still, no game has replicated that since. I think this is a secret. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Only Caleb says, are you a fan of either Black Mirror or Twilight Zone?
No.
What are your favorite episodes of either? And also, I love you, Razor.
Ah, fuck.
Let's get married.
Excuse the fuck out of me. I'm right here.
Nigga.
Hello. Was that a bitch? Or
What? Oh.
David NS84 says, I'm toying with the idea of Miller's Wanted, the villain's one, but as a non-shitty story about a villain's child rejecting villainy and inheriting the mantle of a fallen hero that's a Shadow Phantom Solomon Kane combo to overthrow the villains. Good idea? Question mark?
Repeat that?
He's toying with the idea of Miller's Wanted, the one where the villains...
I don't know enough about Wanted.
Yeah. I
to
mean,
know
I
whether
think
that's a good idea.
It's a good idea. I'm not a fan of
I know the
Wanted.
movie looked pretty stupid.
Basement Philosopher says, I'm gonna take Suck Emperor's word and create an account on BitChute. Anyway, thoughts on Nikola Tesla?
Genius, obviously. I think there's like a weird kind of movement that like the cult of Nikola Tesla that says he like invented every single thing first, which is not true. He invented some really cool shit, but he also invented some really impractical shit that was never going to go anywhere, and he just went down those blind alleys anyway, and that's one of the reasons he's not as well known as other inventors who iterated on his ideas. There we go. Perfect!
Max Levin says, I find Terran as disgusting as the next man, but credit where credit is due. He has a damn evil laughter. Rock on. Speedy Sphincter says, will Prince Albert get anywhere close to the all-time home run record? I wish he stayed in STL.
Pujols. I don't think so. Although he is still healthy and he's still hitting dingers. The dude's still producing. Hold on, I have to do something just for my own personal enjoyment. I actually have to throw a match here. Here we go. This is my favorite thing in the world. Making Diddy Kong commit suicide. You'll see. Oh, he didn't do it! He didn't do it!
Not close enough.
He will literally jump off the cliff after his fucking hat. Let's do it. Oh, hold on. I gotta wait for a platform here. Like the Democratic Party.
Sitting on my shoe.
Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Diddy Kong, you were an hero. Always worth doing at least once.
If you didn't name your MLB The Show character something like Pee-wee Big Daddy, then you did it wrong.
Oh, dear.
Alex Cabrera actually, donated $2. Doesn't say
I
anything.
literally
Thank you very
named
much.
my Asian catcher guy Ching Chong Wing Wong.
Oh my god.
Time. Possibly.
Joss Ricketts says, so rewatched Brosnan Bonds yet? We're
on Tomorrow Never Dies.
Howling Warwolf says,
Which, by the
Razor.
way, I DVR'd that motherfucker, so we're ready to go whenever you
Ooh,
are.
nice.
You are set for a Bond marathon, sa.
Razor, which do you think is worse? Devil May Cry 2 or DMC Devil May Cry? Ooh, no, I'm sorry. It's Devil May Cry 2. I mean, at least DMC is playable.
There we go.
Like, every boss in DMC 2 is just bad. Story is virtually non-existent.
Is that your Thief 4?
It may be. I will say this. Dante looks the best than he's ever been and has ever since. Because the get up looks amazing. And the animations are really good. Like,
Which is probably one of the reasons it's shit.
The things that were created in Devil May Cry 2 have stayed ever since. Like, they made game functions, gameplay things that are still in the games today. So, credit where credit is due. Stealth Creation says, so with the recent Straight Pride Month coming up, what do you think would happen if someone... Sorry, I talked over Alex Jones, how dare I. What would happen if someone as big as Elon Musk decided to attend?
That'd be pretty fucking cool.
He'd do it too. You know he would.
Oh, just a troll.
Mercenary X says, in light of T-Cell's 5 minutes of fame just now, I think it's time T-Cell has his very own
T-Virus
Sabaton meme. But since Sabaton is too awesome for him, I'm going to go ahead and give him something more his speed, like training wheels.
Fuck.
So, no Detective Pikachu? I haven't even seen the movie.
No.
No, I don't.
Why would you?
Felix Wolf says...
It is more noir than Blade Runner 2049, though, from what I hear.
That's not a high bar.
No, not terribly.
Felix Wolf says, did you watch AEW's Double or Nothing?
I watched the main event with... well, not technically the main event, but basically the main event, between Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes, and it was incredible.
I still need to see that.
Oh, what a match. It was great. And I'm not a big work rate guy, but, Gold Dust can still go, as we all know. He's ageless. It's crazy.
If so, what did you think of it? Will you be watching...
I said, I don't like Cody Rhodes' politics. I don't like his fucking philosophy about wrestling, to be honest. God damn it.
Oh, it's Fighter Fest. Will you be watching Fighter Fest in a few weeks? It's spelled.
I'll give it a whirl. I will say, if they keep it up with that fucking. Did you see fucking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez complimented Cody Rhodes on his fucking intersectionalism and diversity and oh yeah, fucking you keep it up with that bullshit, Cody Rhodes. I will never watch any AEW. I will devote myself to its destruction.
Serpent21 says Seth MacFarlane takes over Movie Bob's Fix-It shop after Bronson fixed Movie Bob. Bronson now needs to take care of Seth MacFarlane. Josh Rickett says the only game that I liked on this E3 was Valferris.
No! Fuck. God.
You'd have to remind me what Valferris is. I can't remember.
I'm blanking on it. We saw a lot of shit. And I emphasis on shit.
Jack Bauer says, Dear Razor, ever since I subscribed to you 6 months ago, my rage-induced erection has yet to subside. Should I contact my physician, or is this a normal phenomenon for your audience?
You're evolving.
Yes, you're becoming more than a mere human.
You're more boner than boner.
Yes. Serpent21 says, made it through my Bronson 4-pack of Valachi Papers.
Oh, fuck.
Valachi Papers, Stone Killer, Hard Times, and Breakout.
I heard Stone Killer was good, but Taryn Gell went ahead and watched it without me like a shithead.
We can watch it. I've forgotten most of it, if that's any consolation.
St. Ives was really good.
Pretty cool movies for the most part. Murphy's Law is next.
Kind of an underrated movie he did, Lola, where Charles Bronson is dating an underage girl.
He was in that?
Yeah, Lola, not Lolita. It's similar concept.
Oh.
Similar concept. It's basically the same thing.
I'm getting the mix.
But it's pretty good. Oh, fuck. I missed it again. It's too easy to miss that fucking thing.
Felix Wolf says, any opinions on Jim Cornette?
Giant fucking windbag. Really creative guy. Great promo. George Carlin wants his punchlines back. Would not wipe Jim Sterling's ass with his fucking politics. Fucking horrendous politics. Just boomer tier to the fucking max.
Nathan Danner
And of
says,
course, he's dead wrong about fucking
everything.
Vince Russo and Vince Russo causing Owen Hart's death and shit, and like, he's such a little pussy too. I'm not a fan. And then there's there's like a good no. Thank you. God, don't fuck up again. There we go. Whoa, barely. Jesus Christ. You kidding me with this? Ah! This is killing me! Well, literally.
Nathan Danner says, Barbie, 1992. Math class is tough. AOC, 2019. Composting is hard.
Cow flatulence will kill us all in 12 years.
Yeah, sure. Seasider says, love your work. Playing Monster Hunter World on the PC.
If cow flatulence is killing us all, shouldn't we be eating steak?
Looking forward to Iceborne. Liberative says, thoughts on Stadia and Baldur's Gate 3 announcement.
I cannot imagine that ending well. With the problems American internet especially has with latency, I just do not see that working out.
Good night, Asim. Thank you for your help tonight.
Godspeed, sir. Oh, man, I tried to keep the fucking tire.
Stadia can't be a thing because it takes up to like somewhere between 20 and 60 gigs an hour.
I just
stream.
don't see how you make that happen.
It's stupid. Baldur's Gate 3, I'll make a judgment on that when
That was close.
when we actually see gameplay. Howling Fang says, been on a Motorhead and Yngwie kick lately.
Nice.
I blame you.
Good man.
Miller time.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the band?
Finally. Sorry about that, guys.
Thoughts on the
That's a
band
tough one.
Overkill?
Good band. Kind of underrated.
Saw them live last month, and the lead singer passively ripped on Kumio to a New York audience,
Yeah.
which was met with some silence from others and laughs from me. Godspeed. Canstania says,
Can't stand ya.
aren't you glad those French knobs abandoned Splinter Cell in favor of Watch Dogs, Brexit, Boogaloo? I wouldn't trust the current team to make a half-decent one at this juncture.
What's the
anyhow.
matter, guys? You don't want to hashtag resist along with the fucking millionaire with more yachts than teeth?
The
No?
new Ghost Recon looks awful. It looks like just a sequel to Wildlands. Like, why
Cicero,
would you do that?
no. No. He's chewing a newspaper over there.
No.
At least he's got the right idea about the media.
Yep, that's our dog.
Pixelation says, if you guys play more detective games, you should call a stream Fistlock and Twatson. Investigate. Gee, thanks.
I've
Danny-
wanted for a long time. I wanted to rename RazörFist Arcade Streaming for Vengeance, but
I should move it over to D-Live.
if somebody does like a Screaming for Vengeance graphic for it, I will officially rename RazörFist Arcade.
Danny Numero 6 says, if Venom is the evil version of Motorhead, would Merciful Fate be the evil version of Judas Priest?
I don't know. There's a few bands that you could call the evil version of Motorhead. Sodom, Bathory. Venom's definitely one of them, though. My favorite description of Venom is from, I think it's Kerrang! Magazine. It was Motorhead impaled on a rusty nail. That was the description.
Nobody messes with Adam Wee says, evening everyone. If the left ever manage to oust the conservatives and non-SJW liberals from the world, what groups would be targeted next?
I don't think it would matter, because I think at that point it would come to blows. Not because the right can't handle losing an election. I think because the left has no mandate now, and you can see their overreach. Imagine the left with any kind of mandate. You know what I mean? They would immediately go after guns. They would immediately go at, they would overreach. And I don't think violence would be avoidable at that point.
Eyes of the Wolf
That's what I would
says,
worry about.
Thank you for mentioning, Aptoid?
Yeah.
Is there other alternative apps that you would recommend so we can hit these corporations where it hurts? The
Yes.
wallet.
In terms of browsers on Android, I would recommend Brave, which is sort of what Firefox used to be, essentially.
Actually, if we're going to discuss something like that, I have been using the Dissenter browser.
Oh yeah, Dissenter has a browser as well.
It's actually really good.
Yeah, Brave is great. It's got a built-in ad blocker, which I love, and it's totally non-spy. I recommend DuckDuckGo for search.
Oh, am I too damn loud? Oh, I'll move the mic away.
Here we
Anything
go.
else?
Ah, Jesus! I'm trying to think. F-Droid is another app store that's
Bring me a body bag.
spyware-free, essentially. I recommend that one strongly, although F-Droid's selection is nowhere near as good as Aptoid. Aptoid has all the stuff from Google Play, in addition to a bunch of stuff that Google Play censored, which is the big selling point for Aptoid. Yeah, it's annoying because you get the ads, but you know what? It's a price I gladly pay for actually having Gunbroker on a fucking app store, which is ridiculous. Gunbroker never should have been deplatformed. That was unconstitutional. They didn't do anything wrong. And you're gonna fucking deplatform a legal gun trading website? Like what? I've bought several guns from fucking from Gunbroker rather. God damn.
Taco Twister says,
Oh shit.
Borderlands is all about a world too wild to be subdued by corporations, and the broken people, monsters, living the anarchist dream in the aftermath. If you can call that a story. Walkie Lion donates 20. Thank you very much. E3 was a disappointment. Have to wait another year for Wasteland 3.
Got it.
Bethesda is trying to burn its money away on 76.
Yeah, they are. I
Vamp
think
looks uninspired, and my fear of Outer Worlds being an ego trip is looking more like a prophecy.
Indeed. It's sad too because the positive stories, like one of the greatest, people are talking already about, oh, Fallout 76 has improved so much, and it's this and it's that and it's this. Okay, I might be willing to believe that because I haven't played it since I initially talked about it. Okay, let's accept that premise. You know what has improved radically that the entire gaming media shit on? Underworld Ascendant. Underworld Ascendant went from an incredibly broken launch to objectively one of the best games of that year after 3 updates. It's really good now. Are we going to talk about that? No. And they're not going to get credit for it either. But fucking Fallout 76, we're already working on the revisionist narrative for that one. The fuck?
Henry McCormick says, will we get a Zelda stream?
Ooh, that I wouldn't mind that. You know what? I'd probably do Majora's Mask.
That would be cool.
Or you've got Breath of the Wild, my man.
I've got to get it.
Really?
There's also that Unreal 4 engine.
Well, you better get it before the sequel.
The Unreal 4 engine build of Ocarina of Time that guy's been working on.
Yeah.
I'd love to try tinker with that for a stream.
This man still...
Say, John, fuck him.
This man still needs to play Majora's Mask, by the way. I've been trying to coax him into playing Majora's Mask for many a year.
Yeah.
But he won't do it.
It's
It's so good.
No, did I read that one? No, he donates again. Walkia Lion, from my super chat earlier, but hey, Cyberpunk is looking so good.
Oh, I almost got it.
Cyberpunk is looking so good, could confuse it for a CGI trailer. There's even a Keanu Reeves Easter egg in it. Common Sense America says, who do you think would win in a fight? Nazi Germany or Imperial Japan at the height of their empires?
Oh, definitely Germany. Japan was woefully undersupplied. They were inadequately trained for the kind of combat they were engaging in.
Yeah.
They had no resources to keep their shit. Even at the height of their imperial force, they still had a resource, and especially ammunition and metal, the huge steel shortage. I mean, Germany would have run roughshod on their asses.
Yeah.
Italy would have beaten them. I mean, the great thing they had was the Japanese soldier. That's really what they had. An army willing to fight to the death. That was their greatest attribute. And they wound up exhausting even that attribute by the end, sadly. I mean, look up the sinking of the Yamato if you can fucking stomach it. What the waste of human life that the Japanese army decided to engage in there. I mean, repulsive. They knew what was going to happen to those guys. They sent fucking hundreds of men to die. Whoa, what the fuck? Whoa!
Moving on. David NS84 says, I'm sure TG could lift a sword, but with his sensitive wrists, swinging it might be a challenge. But if he made extra girly squeals, he might pull it off. With his swish, though, I'd be more worried about him running in armor.
Well, on the plus side, unlike Pro Jared, he can bench press a Sharpie. So,
Splitter Trace says, have you heard of Pastor Steven Anderson?
I have. The Ben Shapiro video, I laughed so hard. Oh, God.
Wyatt Nelson says, last day of detention, in case you forgot, from showing your why we need the wall rant to my government
I'm
class.
so sorry, man. Oh, my God. Although that's really fucking cool. That sounds like something I would do, honestly. Did I ever tell the story of me getting kicked out of fucking school? I still graduated. I just got my diploma mailed to me because I was... I basically had graduated early, but, you know, there was still time left in the school year, so I had to keep going every day. I had fulfilled all my academic requirements. So I still had to go. And, I had a half day, you know, because I had fulfilled all my academic requirements. Like, I was going home at, like, fucking 10 or whatever. Shit. At around lunchtime, actually. So, but we had 2 lunch hours. So there was 1 lunch hour before my lunch hour, before I got out, basically. So I would make up excuses to leave the classroom because I wasn't doing any goddamn work. I was doing, like, busy work and bullshit, right? Like, I might as well have had a fucking coloring book. So I was bored out of my fucking mind. So I'd make excuses to go out and, like, because I still had friends who had that lunch hour, and I'd just make up excuses to go over and see them and fuck with them. So, you know, one day, we're weeks away from the end of the fucking school year, and I make a bullshit excuse. I think it was, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and I go to see my friends out at their lunch hour. And the principal, unbeknownst to me, the principal's, like, office overlooked the little lunch area where they ate. And so the principal sees me, and mind you, we're on a first name basis because I hate the bitch. And fucking, she comes, like, stormtrooping out, like, get out of here, you're supposed to be in class and blah blah blah, double time it, you're supposed to be going to the bathroom and whatever the fuck. She's just causing shit, basically, being a busybody. And so I may or may not have clicked my heels together and goose-stepped away while throwing a hand gesture as I as I marched to her office. And I may or may not have immediately been kicked out of school and mailed my diploma. It's entirely possible. All right. I will neither confirm nor deny that story. Oh, shit. Aren't these guys like fucking invincible with a barrel? Nice.
Henry McCormick donates again to say, what's your opinion on a Western story with an American exploring Japan in the 1870s to 1880s?
Ooh. I be kind of like Last Samurai. A little bit.
A little bit.
Which I like that movie. I'm not a big Tom Cruise guy, but that's a pretty good movie.
Mitchell Buchanan says, Japanese tanker owner denied ship hit a mine.
Yeah, that's what he said. And that's the reason I disbelieve it. I'm like, okay, wait. The Japanese are saying it wasn't Iran?
Yeah, a Japanese tanker owner says. Andrea Jovanovic says, apparently Outer Worlds story is written by Tim Robbins from Team America World Police.
Really?
God, that movie was so based. TJ still thinks Trump's a bad president. I'm surprised Wanky Kong could speak with Kyle Kalinski's cock in his mouth. Pleasant tidings, Razor. Bobby Boglin donates $1. Thank you very much. Samuel Steingart says, recently bought the Ruby Throne graphic novel.
Nice!
And I have a question.
Good call.
Is there a reason behind the mutilation of slaves, concubines, explained in the novels that I never got? Just
no,
really curious.
That is an addition of the comic book writer. The idea being, in the novel, you have to understand Melna Benet, where Elric comes from, is like the most libidinous 24/7 Caligulate orgy you've ever heard of in your darkest abiding nightmares. You know what I mean? Like, that's the idea. That just absolute excess to the max. The description off the top of my head is something about, you know, they became so bored with their lives, they spent time on divination on the dreaming couches. Yes, The Witcher stole the, what is it, somnomancy or whatever the fuck that's, gyromancy? What the fuck is that called in fucking Witcher 3? They fucking ganked that from Elric. But anyway, that whole thing, they make pacts with demons and chaos gods and shit. Like, the point is they're super excessive. They're just all about excess. It was a great big analog for what Michael Moorcock felt about England at that time, basically what was going on in England. So the idea is that they literally, there's a specific moment, I think in the books, where they mention that certain slaves are disfigured. Their throats are disfigured and their vocal cords are carved so that they can only hit one perfect note. And then they put them all together in a choir and they all sing one perfect note. They mutilate these people just for their amusement. So the idea is, like, the comic creators carried it one farther, and now they're literally sacrificing slaves to keep Elric alive with basically blood magic, essentially. Oh, shit. So that's essentially the idea behind it, but that's not originally in the novel. The thing about the slave choir and shit and being mutilated so they can only hit one perfect note that's from the novel, I believe.
Mr. Millennium says, such a nostalgic game for me. Love your content.
Oh, it's a nostalgic game for me. I could play it anytime, any place. I regularly revisit this game. It's a fun as fuck game. It's aged really well.
Evil Dead says, why are tabletop games having their lore ruined by the social justice posse? Like,
I have
seriously,
no earthly idea.
Can't they learn how to create their own boring and drivel?
The eco-terrorist thing is just so cringy. And it's funny because, like, look, there's some SJW shit in Werewolf the Apocalypse. You could have talked about that. Like, there's a whole feminist clan that literally hates men. You could, if you wanted to be an SJW, man, you could have gone full tilt with that bullshit. Whoa, fuck. What just happened? Oh, no. Am I screwed? Oh, yeah. I was screwed. I got stranded.
This level looks like a bitch. Somebody says, EVS is declaring Marvel SJW is over. Thoughts?
I mean, if you look at their revenue versus what some of these independent creators are now pulling down, I'd be hard-pressed to make a counter-argument.
Fuzzy Mohawk says, is it wrong to mix listening to retrowave and
You all right?
Satiricon, Silent Striders?
Use your words.
I can't pronounce this word. Satiricon? Satiricon? Silent Striders rule?
I have no idea. I haven't heard that from Satiricon. If you're listening to Satiricon past the first 2 albums, you're doing it wrong.
On your knees, B says.
Once that fucking hipster cut his hair, it was over.
Razor considering incidents like the Oberlin College 44
what
million.
What the fuck is going on? Why does that keep happening?
Huh?
Oh,
Oberlin
I think
College?
they can only be killed with barrels. That's why I keep bouncing off and killing them at the same time, and it's launching me into a nebulous abyss.
$44 million verdict. Mizo enrollment plummeting and others. Will organizations ever realize SJWs are toxic and costly to their enterprises?
They will happily take if there's anything you learned in the 2016 election, it's that millionaires will happily give up millions to have their way politically. 100%. They're indoctrinated. I hesitate to call it principle because it's really not. It's really indoctrination and tribal politics and propaganda at the end of the day. But they're dedicated to it in the same way someone who is principled would be. So they're absolutely willing to take the financial hit for their particular turf.
Kill-Jin says, did you hear about the suit actor for Akbar and how the new Star Wars treated him and the
that made me sick.
Character he cares so much about, yeah.
It made me absolutely sick. Fuck Ryan Johnson.
Das Pooch says, Milo article, Lauren's 2 cameramen are snakes who ratted people out to hope not hate. And everyone thinks she knew about it, hence her retirement.
Oh, Jesus.
Is that true?
I heard something about her cameraman or something. She was... I don't know. It sounds like drama bullshit to me. I don't fucking care, but...
Mr. Mosby says...
I heard something about... Yeah, something about like a cameraman or a producer or something. Editor.
Mr. Mosby says, so, no Satiricon? The Rich and Mighty donates 20 Canadian.
Oh, shit.
Hey, dude, your diversifying advice got me to start putting my Daredevil podcast on the other video service. Same username if you want to pimp me out.
Hey, dude, what's the name of it?
The same username. So, The Rich and Mighty?
Well, what's the name of the podcast?
I'm not sure. He does not say.
A weekly Daredevil podcast? I'm all about it. Sorry, buddy. Accidentally pushed him. Oh my.
Stymie says Terran
Oh,
is so
I can't even remember how to... I can't even remember this boss fight. It's been a minute.
Stymie
Let's see
says,
how I do against King K. Rool, folks.
Stymie says Terran is so fucked in life. And Never So Clever as This says, thank you, Lacrosse,
At least he's
over
getting
suggestion.
Ah.
Mad Lad, Metal Mythos, Varg, Vicurnus.
Oh, fuck that.
The airplane says,
I already did a Bathory Mythos.
the airplane says, T Boogie is gay, short and simple. Notary says, would a Gwar Mythos ever be in the cards?
Shit. A Gwar Mythos? Nah. I'm not a Gwar guy, really.
Nimble Navigator says,
The fucking story of that band is so stupid. It's like... They were just like a bunch of, like... They were basically hipsters who, like, they were kind of taking the piss out of heavy metal. And they made sort of a parody band. They were like college mates or whatever. If I remember correctly. I've been told the story before from actual Gwar fans. Go! Come on,
Nimble
Tom.
Navigator says, can you pause and listen to the song on this level an hour ago?
Aw. I don't know which one.
God, this is such a good song.
Oh, yeah. You know what's amazing?
Make sure to talk over it, though, because...
The best song in the whole game is probably the ending credits music.
Gaku says, would you say that John Wick is Rageaholic Cinema worthy? And would you do one for it if it is?
Maybe. I'll have to do a proper dive into it. I've only seen the first one, and even that one only in bits and pieces, so I'd have to really watch it to say whether it is or not. Like, really dive into the whole series. I love the fake-out credits here, too. This was inspired at the time. I don't know if this had been done before, but I don't remember there being fake credits in a game before this.
They're doing the Mortal Kombat thing.
Yeah.
Credits.
Commander. The end? Oh man, here we go. Now he gets up on fucking crocodile steroids. Oh shit! Forgot what he did there. And then he does like up, yeah. Okay. Boom! Oh, what does he do now? Oh shit. Woo! Boom! Step on your neck. Yeah! We did it, bitches! Donkey Kong Country. Beaten. Like TK jerking the produce aisle.
Xenomine says, so Razor, ever consider playing Monster Hunter World? Not the biggest Monster Hunter guy, but honestly, it's a blast.
Bitchin'. No, I've heard it's good. I think Alpha's a big Monster Hunter guy.
It's really involved, man. You could probably have me play it and you would answer questions or
Oh,
something.
yeah, I know you play it.
Yeah, yeah.
T-Boogie's a big fan.
Bear Squash says, Seth MacFarlane aside, how do you like the Orville?
Not,
that is if you've watched any.
Yeah, I have. No, not my thing.
I do think it's the Star Trek successful that audience crave. I think he meant successor.
Successor to Star Trek. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand what he's saying. I'm not sure I agree. It's like a comedy first and foremost. I mean, first off. Mankey Kong! There we are. The Aquatic Bad Guys.
Brian Bear says, thoughts on the movie Billy Jack?
Oh, that's... I have not seen it, but it's on the list.
Speeder Sphincter says, reminder, heck Boston and their insufferable sports fans. Go Blues, the 2019 Stanley Cup champions.
Right on.
Xenombine says, another question, as someone who struggles getting into a stealth game, with only Deus Ex Human Revolution under my belt, what stealth game would you recommend?
Oh.
And how should I approach said game?
I tell you what, if you like the style of stealth in Deus Ex Human Revolution, Deus Ex Human Revolution stealth is really like a mix of Thief and Splinter Cell. That's what it feels like to me. With kind of a twist of Metal Gear Solid, just a little bit in terms of the cover mechanics, but mostly that's Splinter Cell. So if you get into that, I think maybe a newer Splinter Cell game, like Splinter Cell Blacklist, I bet you would get way into. If you like Deus Ex Human Revolution's style of stealth, definitely give Splinter Cell Blacklist a whirl. And if you like Blacklist, go back through, because in my opinion, the second game, Pandora Tomorrow, is best in the series. Chaos Theory is like equal with it. It's amazing. Double Agent is fantastic. It's a great series, except for Chaos, or not Chaos Theory, but fucking, you know what I mean. The Bourne Identity.
Right.
Fucking, I'm blanking on the title.
Danny numero 6 says, actually he donates 20 and says, if you haven't seen it already and want a good laugh, look up Backstroke of the West. It's a bootleg edition of Revenge of the Sith with hilariously bad English subtitles translated poorly from Chinese.
Right on.
The Master says,
nice!
Pretend Stefan Molyneux is watching the stream. Please explain to him why his fantasies of an ANCAP utopia are unfeasible, impractical, and impossible.
I mean, here's the thing. You can have your ideals and still be a pragmatist. I think Stefan Molyneux falls into that camp. I don't think Stefan Molyneux is not cognizant of the fact that some of his ideas are unrealistic. That doesn't mean you don't hold a particular ideal. I mean, I have many, many libertarian beliefs, but in the interest of pragmatism, I put them aside in certain instances for, one reason or another. I don't think Molyneux's unreasonable in that sense, but, in fairness, I'm not that familiar with all of his positions, but he doesn't strike me as completely unreasonable on that.
Dustin Eaton says, thoughts on Bloodstained, CV's spiritual successor. That would be Castlevania.
Yeah, it looks badass.
It does look really good. They've improved on it much.
What's that fucking pixelated heavy metal game that was at the Nintendo Direct? Oh, it was kick-ass.
Shit.
It was like pixel art, like fucked heavy metal magazine with Contra providing the lube. Like, it was incredible. That was really good looking. I forget what the fuck it was called, though.
Blasphemous?
Was that it?
People are saying blasphemous.
Yeah. It was cool. That was just... Nintendo Direct just blew everyone the fuck away. Again. Like, Nintendo seems to do this, like, pretty much every year.
And also, there was a Contra game announced, and it looks awful. Mr. DJ Fly High says, I have started an audio podcast, and I am thinking of making a YouTube channel.
Good.
Just for gaming. Good idea or not?
Yes, and you know what? Sure, start it on YouTube, but focus on BitChute, because unlike YouTube, you're actually going to be featured in people's recommendations on BitChute. You might even get featured front page, because BitChute does that for people all the time. Just randos, right? You don't have a chance to get that from YouTube anymore. YouTube is utterly elitist. People get buried. I feel bad for people who just start channels now, unless they do the most clickbaity bullshit like fucking WrestleMania or something, unless they just transparently pander and, exploit the algorithm the way shitty channels like that do. They have no chance in fucking hell.
No chance.
But BitChute's different. BitChute, at least right now, it's wild open country, my man. So start your podcast and get it going on BitChute.
Yeah, that's the second part. Also, should I get a BitChute channel?
Yes, sir. Highly recommend it especially for channels that are just starting out.
Gunnar Netterberg donates again to say, Razor, thanks for being such a great resource of politics. If I am ever in Arizona, I will buy you all a beer and your dog some treats.
Godspeed.
And Evelyn Filibertos.
Yes.
Thanks.
Left-wing leaning parasite says, heed my drivel, RazörFist. What are your thoughts on the protests in Hong Kong?
I haven't actually been following them. So I'm sorry. I'm not that apprised of that. I had heard something of it. Is it more independent stuff?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, that would be
Of course, we'll never know about it because no one's reporting on it. Amazing how that works, huh?
Yep. Funny how that works.
Xenombine says, one last donation for me. Would you consider streaming Dusk if someone gifted it to you on Steam?
Sure.
Guys, you don't have to give us anything.
Yeah. No, it looks like a cool game. It looks like a really cool game.
Osmium
we
says,
need to do another Dex stream. That was a badass game.
Yeah, we do.
That's a badass game. Speaking of cyberpunk games.
Osmium says, Razor, do you know...
Is that GOG... Sorry to cut you off. Is that GOG sale still going on, do you know?
I'm not aware.
Because if it is, I bet you Dex is off. If you guys haven't picked up Dex and that sale's still going on, do it. Good cyberpunk game. That'll scratch your itch before Cyberpunk 2077 comes out in 2077. Come, buddy. Come.
Osmium says, Razor, do you know the riddle of steel?
No.
Bear Squash says, hey, Razor, what do you think of that most of popular entertainment is left-leaning, both good and cringe? Question mark.
Simple. Look where it's predominantly located.
Bring me a body bag.
Look who runs those places. Not only did the Democratic Party become entrenched in California politics, man, oh, fuck. Read about the history of the Communist and Socialist Party in America and how it centered itself in New York and California, and it brings so much of what's happening today into focus. And once you understand that the entertainment industry was used as a wedge to get that to happen, it explains a lot about why entertainment and news and everything is so... And I can speak from experience on this, at least where media is concerned, because I went to journalism school. I went to one of the most respected journalism schools in the country, in fact. And I wound up leaving because I was so disgusted at the conduct, and specifically it stemmed... I told this to Sargon once on a stream. We were supposed to do a report. It was just a basic report. You were supposed to do an article. And my professor, this leftist shrew, kind of came across as a flower child, but as the semester wore on, she became more authoritarian, as they often do. And I'm doing this assignment, and of course, the whole theme of it was, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be somewhat editorial in nature. So I, of course, approached it from my political perspective because it was a political story. So I inserted my own opinion into it. Even then, I was very, very right of center. And I give it to her, and she has a problem with it. And initially, she's kind of vague about it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, I take her considerations into account, and then I go back to the drawing board, and I rewrite it, and I give it back to her, and she has another problem with it. I go back to her a fucking third time, ultimately, and she finally just lays her fucking trump card on the table and says, listen, it's important in journalism that if you're going to slant your coverage in any direction, it needs to be slanted to the left, because that's more inclusive. This is a journalism professor at one of the most respected journalistic institutions in the country. Tells me this point blank. I made the decision to leave that day.
Good for you.
Unbelievable. So that certainly would explain where journalism's coming from.
Viking Buddha points out, Dex is $1.49 on GOG.
bitchin'.
Make sure
Pick
to
it
pick
up,
that up, guys.
motherfuckers. $1.50. You cannot beat that.
Just making sure I didn't miss anything.
Cicero?
Um,
Come.
Mr. DJ Fly High says, thoughts on other nostalgia games coming back on E3 like Battletoads and Contra. Also, Margot Robbie said the Birds of Prey movie costumes will be less male gazy. It's a sign DC are becoming Marvel.
Which is hilarious because didn't they already do a Birds of Prey TV show and everybody was fully clothed? Like, what do you think this fucking series is?
Yeah.
Where are they, like, they think it's fucking Stripperella or some shit? Like, what the fuck?
Shaggy Mac donates $1. Doesn't say anything, but thank you very much.
What the fuck?
Osmium donates again. Somebody take his wallet away from him. List me the top 5 things you expect to see or hear from news outlets and critics on YouTube leading up to the next Star Wars movie.
What do I expect to hear?
Yeah.
They're going to make it all about... First off, they are going to preload it for just in case it fails. They're going to attempt to inoculate the film from criticism by emphasizing the J.J. Abrams perspective. I think the media are going to spin it as, well, J.J. Abrams had his original concept on The Force Awakens. And then Rian Johnson ran afield of it and tried some things and it didn't work out. And now it's getting back to the roots, right? This is how they're going to try and spin it, which is, of course, bullshit. J.J. Abrams had he had a really general idea of what he wanted to do, but it wasn't like he had mapped out 3 films or some fucking shit. That didn't fucking happen. But that's how they're going to spin it. You can see that coming from 19 blocks away. No fucking question. So I think that's what the media is going to say. As far as the company itself, they're 100% going to attempt to preemptively damage Control by making it about the fans and how toxic they are. They're gonna double down on that shit, and you can quote me on it. You can quote me on it. And then if it bombs, think about it. It's a win-win. If it bombs, they get to blame those fans. If it does well, then they get to say, "See, fans, it did well anyways." Those are just marginal voices that don't matter.
Also, what are your thoughts on
Win-win.
Jedi The Fallen Order? It's Uncharted with a lightsaber. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, kinda. It's definitely not Jedi Knight.
Yeah. It's like, I could pay $60 for this, or I could just play Jedi Knight again. Splitter Trace says, thoughts on Platonic Studios? Platonic? What do they make?
Platonic Studios? Hold on. Let me look. Oh, Platonic Games. Gotcha. Let's see here. Because I've actually never heard no, I have heard the name, but I'm just off the top of my head, I can't think. Oh, Ukulele. Stuff like that. I haven't played it.
Oh, yeah. Ukulele, the team kicked out John Tron's voice acting that he contributed.
Yeah.
Because of the whole thing that went down. And I was like, fuck them. Oh, Camino Uni, Foreigner, say something in the chat so we can mod you real quick. Let's get that over with. Osmium donates yet again. Who do you think would win in a staring battle? Ruth Bader Ginsburg or the Crypt Keeper?
The Crypt Keeper has better material by far. What's up?
Mod.
Okay, whatever. Later.
Okay, fine. Also, would you rather drink soy while listening to AOC or get a Pelosi skin job? Ugh. None of these things are good. Danny numero 6 says, thoughts on the Godfather movies and what's your favorite gangster movie in general?
Favorite gangster movie is probably Little Caesar.
Really?
Yeah. The Edward G. Robinson film.
And what are your thoughts on the Godfather piece?
I've never actually sat down and watched all the Godfather movies, to be perfectly honest. Just never was a thing that I was into. Not that they're bad or anything. I have seen Goodfellas. That was pretty good.
Gorma64 says, actually donates 20. Thank you very much. And says, I miss the days when 2D animated movies were truly creative and majestic, like the Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah.
Don Bluth and
How have
Walt
you
Disney
never heard
Works.
of Ralph Bakshi, man? We watched Fire and Ice, bro.
Yeah. I believe if someone made a 2D animated Elric movie, 2D will enjoy a revival. Thoughts?
Indeed.
But the problem is that they just take too long to make.
Yeah.
I believe Redline took 7 years to
How
animate.
long did Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust take? That was kind of the same approach, right? They sort of took, although that was like Japan, that was East meets West. It was like the fluidity of American animation mixed with the detail of Japanese animation, which is why it looks so fucking gorgeous. I don't know how long that took, but yeah.
We see
Anime companies are cutting corners like a motherfucker.
Oh god, fuck
and cutting
Naruto.
jobs while we're at it.
I almost call it Naruto. Naruto, fuck Naruto.
Do you guys have any Naruto headbands?
It's just ruined anime.
Naruto.
We see you, Camino Uni. We'll get you after the stream ends. We're almost done here. Bourbon Bear says, effing love and respect you, Mr. Razor. Accept my hard-earned shekels because I'm drunk off wild turkey.
Good man.
And it's either I give you monies or I end up calling a woman and spilling my heart out, and I shouldn't.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I might, while I'm answering these, I might play a game in the background so you guys aren't just looking at a blank screen.
Demaster says, I tried to listen to Screaming for Vengeance. Sorry, but I can't finish it. The Hellion Electric Eye are so fucking awesome that I spam replay for 20 minutes.
Did that say rapeware?
What?
That said rapeware. Did that?
Rareware. She thought it said rapeware. Are you kidding me?
Pixelation says, Joe Biden promise to cure cancer if elected. Sounds like he's running for student council president.
You're
Think he could make
right.
the water fountain soda too? Did he actually say that?
Oh my god. Oh, I have no coins? What the fuck? I have no coins. Diddy Kong falls victim to socialism.
Osmium donates $20. Again. More questions before you guys close.
Yes, sir.
Name 3 publicly praised titles in video games you think are overrated. All the Metal Gear games. Also...
Big time.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, you're not wrong.
Okay, I mean, if you want that to be your answer. Also, would you rather marathon watch 8 seasons of My Little Pony with lens flare, or listen to Roger Ebert jabber for 24 hours?
Ugh. Roger Ebert was fucking awful. He was just terrible. It's so apropos that fucking terrible YouTube movie reviewers idolize him.
Zoomer Hub says we need an Earthworm Jim stream.
We do, and I would love to have Doug Tendapel on to talk about his new project while we do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to, just to give him a platform, anything that can help. I mean, he's already been successful with his fucking campaign. Couldn't be happier for him.
And Earthworm Jim 3, the new Earthworm Jim, is going to be exclusive to the Amiga.
That's awesome.
The new one, yeah.
That's just awesome. And why not?
And why not?
When you're a known property and you know the video game market is what it is, you're not going to get any help from the fucking gaming media anyway. Why the fuck wouldn't you?
Wyatt Nelson says, if you only have 2 choices where to live Southern California or Southside Chicago. Which do you choose? FYI.
Oops! Oh my god. I'm retarded.
I know this really a choice between Mexico or death. What would you choose?
It was Southside Chicago or what?
Southside Chicago or Southern California. Jesus Christ.
I
I really hope that's not a real thing.
What are you talking about?
As a choice for him.
Oh god.
Moving between either
Cicero.
Southside Chicago or Southern California.
I'd go, you believe it or not, I'd go Chicago.
Is he biting on things again?
Yes.
Josh Rickett says, who do you think could be a good Bond after Daniel Craig?
Oh man. Well, I've said since the beginning I think Tom Hiddleston would be a solid Bond.
Okay. Anderson Paladin says, hey Razor, did you find the Vampire Bloodlines 2 Malkavian trailer Easter egg? The voice actor is the same guy who voiced Gary Golden. Blew my mind.
No, I didn't catch that.
Bear Squash says, one last shekels.
It did kind of blow my mind. I didn't realize that the lead writer of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was like a voice actor in the fucking thing.
Love all you do, especially about changing my mind, Steven Crowder style, about Michael Jackson.
Godspeed. I'm glad I could do that.
Nobody messes with Adam Wee says, I hope you're right about Daredevil because the only possible alternative is in the MCU films that will most likely take inspiration from Mark Waid. Oh God. Let's hope not. Boag says, have you read or watched Tanya the Evil? It's an anime.
Oh, okay.
So that's a no?
What is it?
Tanya the Evil.
I have never even heard of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Debonair Nerd says, this is the grand negus of E3. Your recent droned harder than Finding Neverland. Let me educate you. Rule 6, never allow creativity to stand in the way of profit. Rule 110, exploitation begins on mobile. Osmium donates again.
We are actually going to have an E3 rules of acquisition, aren't we?
Once again, boys, we must thank you for playing the great How Barack Obama Freed the Slaves with Banana Healthcare. Tune in next time when our heroes tackle the mobs that will attack the new Rambo.
Oh God, they will. That movie is going to make so many people spurg out, some of whom are on the right, might I add. That is going to be such a controversial film, and I fucking love it.
And here's where the fight begins.
It's been so long. Sorry. No, keep going.
The airplane says, last. Wyatt Nelson says, thoughts on the Lord of the Rings TV show series.
I haven't heard anything about it. I'm worried out of principle. I mean, I'm not interested. Look, you shot your wad. The movies were fine.
Yeah.
The movies hit the mark.
Honestly,
they were.
there's
they
no
weren't.
more.
You could nitpick and change one or two things or whatever. I don't think Return of the King was as good as Two Towers or Fellowship of the Ring, but they were still great. All three films are excellent, right? So I don't see why you'd do it except for just cash. Cold, hard fucking cash, which is... I remember vividly when they got the license. There was all that controversy and, when they finally got it, it was like, don't worry, we're going to do right by this license, and we would never besmirch the good name of J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, all these years later, you got Shadow of Mordor, which just shits all over Lord of the Rings canon, and you got a fucking TV series in the works when the movies already exist, and oh, come on. It's gone far enough. Cut it the fuck out.
Debonair Nerd says, you mean second last airplane?
Oh, shit.
Xenonbine says, funny you mentioned Redline and Bloodlust. I've seen both, and Jesus, they are good. Yes, they are. Another really good one from an animation perspective, and this one was in the 80s. They didn't have all the
the advantages Bloodlust and Redline did, is The Running Man. I think the whole Running Man, it's like a short film. The whole Running Man short is on YouTube. The whole fucking thing. In HD. Unbelievable. Eye-poppingly beautiful.
Mr. Cobble.
Cyberpunk masterpiece there.
Mr. Cobblestone says, "Hey Razor, did you see the Styx Hexenhammer video with the CEO of BitChute?"
I didn't see it. I heard about it.
The airplane says, "Debonair nerd, this is the last of my This is the last of my Haman." Kajiri says, "Do you think Richard Dawkins is a fan of this game?" Wyatt Nelson asks, "Favorite anime?" And it's well known already. Record of Lodoss War.
Yeah, Record of Lodoss War is my #1 favorite. I'd throw Ronin Warriors up there too. I mean, I got a few, but definitely Record of Lodoss War is #1. And the original, not that shitty second one. What is it? Legends of the Heroic Knight or whatever the fuck it is.
And last for the night, Osmium, who's been very generous all night. "You shall not be last, for I shall win the crown." And then the airplane just donates $1 and doesn't say anything.
All right, gang. Thank you for joining us here on RazörFist Arcade Live, a.k.a. Streaming for Vengeance. Hope you enjoyed the Manky-tastic adventures of Donkey Kong. Sorry to all the people who wanted it to be Super Mario RPG, but not sorry. This is my favorite Super Nintendo game. Fuck you.
Wyatt Nelson donates $1, doesn't say anything. Osmium donates $2 and says, "My wallet is invincible, boys."
All right, before we get hit with anything else, God fucking speed, folks. I love you all.